Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the NERDWatch podcast. I, of course, am G Money, here on another lovely Tuesday evening right here in the heart of Wailuku Town on the beautiful island of Maui in the great state of Hawaii. And we are here to talk about our 4th of July weekends, new comics, new nerd news, all that stuff coming up very shortly here. But first, before we get started, let me introduce the crew. First off, he is the producer, seducer. He is also the man who failed to invite me back to dinner, and I blame him. Why. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Cobra Kai Kai.
Hello, everyone. Just so you know, he's a dick. That's why I don't invite him to come eat dinner with us.
I've never denied my dickitude. Never. Also, joining us this evening.
It's also a potato.
It's not. Anyway, also joining us this evening, this next gentleman, he is our man in black. He is also the man who does card tricks with his hands and bird tricks with his pants. And he accuses me of being an ass. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to our gaming guru. It's Phormat.
Stating facts, not accusing.
It's
Me and Phormat agree.
It's what they call accusations, sir.
Not when you have two witnesses.
I have it in writing.
Multiple witnesses.
All right.
What's up, America and beyond?
And beyond. Also, joining us this evening, I cannot believe it myself. He is our Dark Knight. I should say Maui's Dark Knight. He is the man who fights crime with a cape, a cowl, and utility belt, flies across Maui County, fighting crime like no one else does.
Oh, God.
He does it also with not just a cowl, but a RoboCop helmet as well now. It's pretty sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, he is our horror aficionado. He is a punk rock superstar. And damn it, he's pretty darn good looking too. Ladies and gentlemen, please show some reverence for the man we call Gannon. Gannon, I'm so glad you can make it tonight, sir.
The only part of that that's not true is I'm not good looking.
Sure.
Oh. I doubt that. You are pretty much. You are. You attract the ladies. It's your punk attitude and your punk look and all your fantastic tattoos. What? It's true.
Your punk attitude.
It's your punk attitude.
Your punktitude.
Your punktitude. It's written all over your arms.
I feel like there's two amongst us that are not your friends, so you're trying to gain favor with the
Damn it, you might be right. Also, joining me this evening, I am glad to call him friend.
Oh.
He is the comic book artist extraordinaire. He is the creator of Disco Thunder Groove Bone, Mohawk Thunder, and of course, the milkman always delivers. And with a beard and hair like that, how could you not? Ladies and gentlemen, he is the creator of the Kukui Project. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our Hawaiian Salted Superman. It is Todd.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
What else do you create?
Yeah, what else do you
create? So
create?
many things. Oh my goodness.
I create so many things.
I can tell you what he's created. He's created a human.
Whoa.
I try to take
like in a factory.
Yeah, but only he got to do the fun part
in a laboratory.
It's true.
Yeah, but I deserve most of the credit, though.
Let me be fair. You were involved in the creation of a human. You were part of it, so that's good.
I mean, I barely remember it.
What? What the fuck?
You did the unboxing?
Holy crap, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your Hawaiian Salted Superman right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's the unboxing video of this? I want to see this.
Greg, when it only lasts
www.onlyfans.
What was that?
Not edu, right?
What was that, Gannon?
I said when it's only a couple of minutes, you can't expect that to stick out and be memorable.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I remember it as the greatest couple of minutes of my life, but I'm not sure.
It's as I always say, it's a race. Whoever gets there first wins.
Wow.
That's how it works, right?
Interesting.
That's what I learned. I mean, I don't know.
It's a good point.
I guess as long as it stuck out.
Yeah.
I mean, with that said, I know quite a few sore losers.
Todd, did it stick out?
Oh God.
That's sticking out right now.
All right, sweet, awesome. Anyway, speaking of something for the boys, he is the chairman of the comic book board.
Is Alika for the boys?
Yes, he is. He's the godfather of comic books. He is the sinister minister of Maui Comic-Con and the self-proclaimed comic master. He is freaky. He is sneaky. He is definitely leaky, and his bevvities, on occasion, could be quite streaky. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Dr. Freaky Daddy Leaky Alika! Hello, Alika.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
But the song was so good.
But the song's so good, right, Alika? Come on now.
The song's incredible, yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Who doesn't love Denise Williams?
The stuff that G says over it is gross.
Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can join in on the fun as we simulcast here on Facebook, on facebook.com/NerdWatch, on YouTube at NerdWatch Nation, and on Twitch at NerdWatch 808. That's right, NerdWatch 808 is where you can catch us on Twitch. And guess what? If you're lucky, on Twitch, the NerdWatch is soon to be doing a hot tub stream, and you're not going to want to miss out on that.
Oh, no.
What?
I thought that was an OnlyFans account we were doing.
No. You can actually do it on Twitch now. They have like their own. It's an old dedicated channel, so we could do the hot tub stream.
Can you take down those butthole pics I put up there?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can definitely do that.
Sorry.
Anyway, if you want to comment, in the chat, we will see it from any one of those platforms. Of course, a big shout out to Kaleo and Kamiki and Mr. Drew Gutierrez, the Sex Panther himself, in the chat as well. That's true. He's the Sex Panther.
Also, Kaleo and Kamiki say that it was a potato.
Okay, they're lying.
Thank you.
They're lying.
I think
That's bull. That is bull. It is not. It's not.
Hey,
it's
for a guy that likes to eat. I'm surprised you don't know what a
I will
tastes
say
like.
I will say that from that restaurant from Miko's, that was a root vegetable, but damn it, it was not a freaking potato. I'm telling you.
Did you say rude vegetable?
It swore at me when I tried to eat it.
Rude boy ponderitum.
Yeah.
Dude, just give it up already.
What? I'm serious. Anyway. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into any of the other festivities, it is time to check in with Alika. Number one, because not only are we going to talk about the latest and greatest in comic books this week, because every single Wednesday is New Comic Book Wednesday at Maui Comics and Collectibles at Request Music in the heart of Wailuku Town. But now, Alika, I'm springing this on you, and you can say no comment if you want. Okay. You can tell me no comment, or you don't want to answer it, and that's fine. Did you have sex with Miss Lewinsky? No, I'm just kidding. No, nothing. I'm just kidding. What I wanted to tell you, what I wanted to ask you was,
I have no idea.
It's a gotcha show. I wanted to ask you, where it is July. Okay, we're midway through the year. Any updates about Maui Comic-Con?
We will have some updates very soon.
Interesting.
But not right now. Not for
okay.
you.
Wow. That seems a little harsh, but okay.
Not until you admit it was a potato.
He's holding up for a real news outlet.
That was actually one of the conditions, G. You've got to admit it was a potato.
All right. No, well, let's put it this way. The update that you're going to provide, will it be for this year?
Yo, why would I? Okay, just come on. Let's
All right. Listen, I was trying to push the envelope. I was trying to push the envelope a little bit. All right, I'm sorry.
No, you're trying
sorry.
to ask the same question in 18 different ways to see if you can trick them.
Yeah,
this is ambush journalism.
Yeah, this is what
What a very
journalists do.
white thing of you to do.
Yeah, I can use my quote unquote white privilege to ask those kinds of questions. Now,
What the hell's going on?
every single Wednesday is New Comic Book Wednesday, and of course, Maui Comics and Collectibles is always a part of that. So, Alika, could you tell us what is coming out this week in the world of the comic books?
So the shipment is not coming this week, but these comics I'm going to read the list for are going to be here next week. But they're in the shipment that's supposed to be here this week.
Ooh.
Okay. So Amazing Spider-Man number 70. We're already past the nice issue. Amazing Spider-Man annual number 2. America Chavez, Made in the USA, number 405. That's your favorite
America.
woke comic, G.
Yeah, I love that one.
Same jobs all this time.
Avengers number 46. Captain America number 30. Children of the Atom number 5.
Ooh.
Extreme Carnage Alpha number 1. Assuming that's a Carnage book. Fight Girls number 1 from our friend Frank Cho, the man.
Ooh, the man.
So, with the new book, Fight Girls. Firepower, number 13.
Todd likes that book.
He sure does.
I can't wait. Can't wait to read it.
Geiger, number 4.
I have all 3 of those. I haven't read any of them yet.
What, Geiger?
God Killer, Tomorrow's Ashes, number 1. I have no idea what publishing company that's on. Good Asian, number 3.
Also a good comic.
Hellboy and BPRD.
How long does that Good Asian comic? Do you know how long that Good Asian comic is running for?
I think it's 5 or 6 issues.
9 issues.
9
is it 9? Wow.
9.
Will there be a resolution to find out of whether or not they are or are not a good Asian?
Pretty sure that starts off telling you he's a good Asian, bro.
Oh, got it.
It's gonna set up the spin-off series about his dog, and it's gonna be called The Goodest Asian.
Guys. Fair.
Immortal Hulk number 48.
Oh, sick.
Yes.
Can't wait.
He's still immortal.
Carmen number 505, the final issue in that series.
I feel like you're only picking that up for me at this point. I don't think anybody else is reading that.
No, Jeremy Jarvis is reading that.
Oh, is he really?
Gillum March art is incredible. I mean, shame on Todd for not reading it.
Well, Todd's a very elitist comic book reader. So
Todd just supports the guys that he wants to be like.
Right. Oh, damn.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Mamo number 1 of 5.
Hey, Drew says that he gets Carmen.
I've got Carmen number
From
1.
Alika? Because that was the point.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Masters of the Universe Revelation number 1 of 4.
Who's doing that book?
It's on Dark Horse. I'm not sure of the creative team.
I was asking about?
Yeah,
that's the one.
Is Kevin Smith actually writing it?
No, I think Kevin Smith, just like with the show, is giving the initial plot, but there's another writer that's going to actually script it out.
Yeah.
So I think he just charts the issues, and then it's the same as the TV show. Like they chart the overall series, and then somebody else comes in and basically does the actual plotting.
There's a variant cover by Mike Mignola.
That's for issue 2, though. I thought.
Yeah.
I do have the Mike Mignola cover coming in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kevin Smith
it's pronounced Mignola.
Tim Sheridan and Rob David are also listed as writers on the book too.
Nice.
Cool.
Skybound X number 1. That's an image book.
Oh, David Nakayama is going to do a variant cover too.
Nice. Sleigh Bells. That's the Bad Idea book. Supposed to be in this week's shipment. I'm not getting it till next week.
One of the last 5.
That's one of the original first wave books.
Oh, that's not one of the 5 books?
It's not one of the final 5 books. There's I think there's 3 or 4 more books left in the first wave for Bad Idea. It's Sleigh Bells, The Lot, number 1, 2, and 3, and Tankers 3. And then I think the first wave of Bad Idea is over. Then we'll start getting the final 5 books in the next half of the year.
Gannon, are you subscribed to the final 5?
The final 5 is the final 5 books of Bad Idea as we know it.
Right. Are you subscribed to those final 5?
The company is going to fold, and then they're going to come back and call themselves the Baddest Idea.
Why aren't you sitting on these boards, Gannon? I don't understand. You should be sitting on these boards.
I tell you guys this all the time. I've got the best ideas, just nobody wants to ever hear me.
No, Gannon, you have the bestest ideas.
I know that.
All right, go ahead, Alika.
Snake Eyes, Dead Game, number 505, the Rob Liefeld Snake Eyes book.
I bet you in Rob Liefeld's book he doesn't talk.
I bet you he's got lots of leg pouches.
The Worst Dudes, number 205.
Wait. So you have the good Asian and the worst dudes coming.
Yeah.
Wait, let me guess. The worst dudes are white.
You bet.
Well, they usually are.
Actually,
I mean,
actually, you know what? I read that book. I think one of them is black.
Oh,
reminds me of my favorite Golden Girl, Betty White.
The worst. The worst dudes is just on the cover. It's just the cast of the NERDWatch.
You guys ever seen that great meme of the Golden Girls revival, and it's Betty White with a Ouija board?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's
so like brutal. Seriously one of the funniest fucking memes I've ever seen.
Oh, easy with the dirty language. All right, anyway, go ahead.
Wait, we can say dick, but we can't say the F word?
Oh, we didn't say that. Stop it. Off the air.
You said it.
You said it.
Yeah.
X-Men number 1. Wow, yay! Another number 1. Yay! X-Men number 1.
Is it Dwayne Hickman?
It'd be worth like $60.
It's like finally getting back to like X-Men stuff.
What does that mean?
It means what it means.
All right.
Well, all the earlier stuff, like the Hickman run, that's all like rebuilding all the craziness that came before it, and now we can move forward with the X-Men as they are now.
So is this Hickman or no?
I imagine Hickman's still heading it up.
Okay.
But I don't think he's actually writing it.
Got it.
Yeah, that guy can't write.
He's like the Feige of the X-Men right now.
Wow. Interesting. He's the
that's the comic book list.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to Alika of Maui Comics and Collectibles, where you can pick up your copy of any one of those comic books, but not tomorrow, but sometime this coming week, I think, right?
Can I get other people's copies
next Wednesday. Next
Wednesday. So that is Maui Comics and Collectibles. And of course, that's located right here in the heart of Wailuku Town on the beautiful island of Maui, right there in Request Music. And now, Alika, we don't talk about this every week, but curiously, because you've been getting these late, or this one late, is it because of the way the delivery structure is, or what, or is it just typical?
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said the way you're getting comics, right? Is it because of the new? Is it because of the new distributors, or is this just typical?
No, none of that. I mean, I'm still doing Marvel through Diamond right now, but this month we're supposed to be putting in our Penguin Random House orders for October for Marvel. So I am gonna go. I mean, I prefer to buy wholesale, so I'm hoping that the Penguin Random House, if that's cheaper, then sorry, Diamond. Diamond is gonna punish me as a retailer by dropping my Marvel order. They're gonna they're gonna reduce my discount on whatever books left I have to order from them, like Image and Dark Horse and whatever. Because right now none of those guys have another distributor. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah,
All right.
I don't talk crap about Diamond because I'm petty or I'm just picking a fight because it's funny. Like, they deserve to break apart, and they force the hand. Like, what's happening to Diamond right now is just has been a long time coming, and it, like, thankfully the pandemic, I'm not saying it's a good thing the pandemic happened, but it definitely put a pressure test on the system that burst the right parts at the seams, and we're fine. You can't fix it till you break it. So I'm glad that what's happening to Diamond is happening.
That's what happened to a lot of businesses, though. And to be fair,
we're gonna have growing pains on the in between, like figuring out the shipping rates and figuring out wholesale costs of comics. But I think as a result, that comics are going to start coming into more retail spaces. I think that Penguin Random House is an easier distributor to deal with than Diamond is. And other stores, other than just comic stores, are going to start probably carrying Marvel comics at least again, because you can get them from Penguin Random House. Borders ended their relationship with Diamond because they suck to work with, but Borders has a healthy relationship with Penguin Random House.
Sure. That does make sense, to be quite honest. So I mean I would assume that because for Penguin Random House, that comic books would be gravy for their distribution. You know what I mean? Because it's not their main point.
I'm not disillusioned enough to think that comics are a big portion of where they would make money or where they be super profitable for them, but they are the right company to grow the market in the way that it should. That it's capable of growing. The market can grow. It's everybody who craps on you don't understand. Comics can only sell in the 5-figure amounts, and that's max nowadays. Nobody's buying comics, blah, blah, blah. People want comics. It's just that the world has made it so hard, so many forces descend upon the industry to gatekeep people from comics. Kids love comics by nature. They just want them. They love them. You give them a comic, they enjoy it, they appreciate it. It's just difficult for people to get comics. And I know me as a comic store owner, being one of the few places you could get comics at, I should be like a greedy little dragon and just be like, yes, only comics through me. But that's not how it should be. You should be able to get comics everywhere.
Well, from now on, I guess I'll call you Smaug. So,
is that how you pronounce that?
I pronounce it Smaug. Oh yeah.
Comic books with
Smaug. Anyway, Drew has a question in the chat. He says, "When does Liefeld's Shield come out? What is that?"
Came out last week.
Oh, okay, gotcha. There you go, Drew. There's your answer. It came out last week.
And according to Liefeld, it's sold out at the source.
Ha ha.
What is
another win? Another win for Liefeld.
Wow. Rob's he's a national treasure, isn't he?
Sure is.
Wow, the silence is deafening. Anyway,
I said he is.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we? Of course, as we know, we might as well get started with Loki. Loki episode 4, starring the man Tom Hiddleston. Episode 4. Let's get a little review of what everybody thought of that. It's got tonight is the premiere in about half an hour of the brand new episode 5.
Hey, Greg, I'm gonna have to leave in about half an hour.
Oh,
I also will.
Wow, you guys are jerks.
The reason I have to leave is because it's so freaking hot in my office, and yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Let's get right to it, shall we? Loki episode 4. Todd, I'll start because I'm looking at you. You're right next to me on the top of the screen. Todd, episode 4 of Loki. What you think, pal?
It was. I was really looking forward to them killing off Loki, and then they brought him back immediately. So I'm not sure. I'm still interested. I still want to see where it goes. but I'm not happy about that. I don't like it when they toy with my emotions.
Now, and we'll get to everybody else here in a second, and maybe you guys can all answer this when we go round robin on this. Do you? My question ultimately for all of you is that can they resolve this within 2 episodes? That's all they got left.
I think that I think that we're heading right towards. I think we're gonna get to the cliffhanger after the climax in this episode, and then everything else is just gonna be resolution, mostly. I think for the last episode.
We're basically just waiting for Professor X to contact them with Cerebro.
Yeah.
And once that happens, then we know the Phoenix saga's begun. So
sure. Alika, what about you? What'd you think?
I love it.
Really? I'm surprised. I really thought it.
You're surprised? I love you. Surprised? I love the cheesy Loki costume from the 1960s made of felt. Yes, I love that.
No, it felt like it kind of stopped from where the momentum a little bit. This episode kind of slowed down. Is that just me?
No, I think the momentum slowed down in the last episode. They spent half the episode on a train. You know what I mean? It's like I don't necessarily think it's the momentum as much as how much they play with your emotions. I think that's part of why people like Loki and they love Loki is because he pulls at your heartstrings. Like his whole arc is like heartbreaking, yet he's mischievous and fun, and he's always a good time. And I that's the whole crux of the show. The show is what Loki is,
And now, and I'll go to Gannon on his review on this as well. Isn't that the point? I mean, is that the and this is what I've been having a hard time resolving with this show. From where we know Loki came from where have we followed his journey this whole time? He has not been exactly mischievous. He's been more of a prick and evil. And
How do you know though?
Yeah, I understand that. Maybe you're right about that, but
that could also be the entire crux of the whole thing. That
correct.
He's been playing the long game the whole time with everybody.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that particular Loki in a while, but being that this show is all about Loki, it does kind of he does kind of seem like this rudderless character, and all these things are just happening to him as opposed to being a part of the events going on. Things are just happening around him, and he's reacting to it everywhere he goes.
Right.
But as things are going, he's getting a beat on how these things work. So, for all we know, the next episode or maybe even the very last episode, we're going to find out that, because we have yet to have ever seen him actually use his powers in any kind of way.
Correct.
His actual illusion-based powers. At least I can't think of a meaningful way he's used it so far. Like, we know he can't use it in the TVA, but anytime they've ventured away from the TVA, we haven't really seen him use it.
Got it.
So for all we know, he's done it. We just us as an audience haven't seen it.
Got it. Now, what did you think of this episode though? Do you think the momentum was slowed down a bit? Did you like it? What was the deal?
I kind of want to form my full opinion of it after I've seen the rest of the show, but so far my initial impression is this kind of could have been better served as a movie instead of a show, because certain episodes, you're taking the time to stretch things around with the characters and stuff like that, really explore stuff, but it doesn't really add much to what's supposedly to where this thing is headed. At least it doesn't feel like it yet. So that's why I don't really want to throw that out there as my full formed opinion, but It does kind of feel like this could have been a 2-hour movie instead of a 6-hour TV show. But he's great in it. And the other thing of it was, and I didn't really think about it until this episode, even though this is supposed to be kind of an expansive world that he's being let loose in, even more so than he's ever known, when I was kind of thinking about it, I was doing the math in my head, there's not a lot of characters in this thing, considering how big an open world this is everywhere. When you really get down to it, there's not a lot of characters that are like the follow through characters throughout this whole thing. Like, you could probably name 5, and that's it. You know what I mean? Considering how big the world has become for him and how expansive this whole thing is, it almost feels like very personal and intimate because there's very few characters to actually really attach to. And I don't know. I don't even know why they wasted the time with the fake out death for Loki. I guess, maybe they had to explain what actually happens to you when they get hit by the stick. Because I kind of knew from the beginning that didn't wipe them out entirely, that they weren't dead, that they went somewhere else. I kind of felt that from the very beginning, but it just kind of feels like you cannot keep doing the fake out death with Loki, because for all intents and purposes, he is actually dead. He is dead.
Yeah, I see that.
This Loki that we're following is someone that, had the Avengers not done what they did, was able to create a whole new branch. So this one could end up killing him by the end of this thing, just because, for all intents and purposes, Loki is actually dead. Just the one we're following is just he's branched out.
That's what I was just about to ask. Does it really matter if he dies or not, considering where we're going? Does it matter?
Well, that's the question. Like, how does he affect the rest of the world if he were to come back into, like, if he, like, I can almost see this show ending where once we get like the full rest of the story of what the TVA actually is, because
right.
Me and Phormat have been talking about it. I kind of figured that the three guys were either dead or they're just kind of a hoax.
Yeah.
So something else is in charge. So I could almost kind of see the show ending where he becomes the king of this place as his own kingdom in a way.
Interesting.
Like, because he doesn't really have a place in the rest of the world. Not really. For him to re-enter the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it is right now would probably draw so much attention to what the rest of the world doesn't know, that it's almost more dangerous for him to reveal that he's still actually alive.
And I'll go to Phormat on this too, and he can follow up because you guys were talking about it.
Oh my God, is it daytime over there?
I don't know how fun it is. Hey, I don't know. I got that Phormat's in another zip code, maybe.
It literally looks like it's daytime over there.
It does look like it's daytime behind him. It's interesting. Yeah, it kind of does. What I'm curious about is, though, how much fun is it for the audience to constantly have the series crap on its main character? Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it doesn't feel like, because if you do it too often, you kind of get disinterested in what's going on with him, and you're like, let's just wrap this up to see where it goes in the MCU, instead of, this is a very interesting character.
This is why, like I was saying, and I'm sorry, totally jumping all over Phormat's time, but this is why, like I was saying, like, we're experiencing it the way if he is the God of Mischief, and that's what this is going towards,
right?
This is what he'd want everybody to believe. So why not the audience too? If he's going to ultimately trick everybody towards the end and have some kind of trick that we haven't seen, the best way to do that is for us to believe that he doesn't know what's going on, and he's constantly the Charlie Brown of the show. Right.
And it seems like Owen Wilson is what the hell's her name? The chick that holds. No, he's the chick that holds the football for Charlie Brown. Lucy. That's it. Anyway.
That's who you think he is in this show?
Yeah, he kind of.
You don't think that's Sylvie?
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You're probably more right than I am. To a certain
extent, when you watch her, it does kind of almost feel like she's pushing his buttons to get him to do what she needs him to do for her.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
Whether he's aware of it or not, but again, they could both be playing the game against each other.
Right. Phormat, what say you? Wherever you are in the world.
Well, I got an idea that just kind of popped in my head. What if everyone at the TVA are different variations of Loki?
They're all Loki.
What if Mobius is a version of Loki?
That would be interesting.
And he just doesn't know.
Wow, I'm going to have to take a word of 10,000 Lokis?
And now, is that...
Have you guys ever seen Tom Hiddleston's impression of Loki, by the way?
No.
Look it up. He does it on the Graham Norton show. And
I did see it. It was good. It was really funny.
So spot on so that way, like when this show got announced and they said that Owen Wilson was going to be in it, it was like, I wonder if that was Tom Hiddleston's, because he's a producer on the show. So I'm wondering if that was his idea to bring him onto the show, because he'd been making fun of him for so long. He's just like, what? I need to do this guy a solid and get him on a Marvel thing, because I've been making fun of him for years. Because his impression is like, his impressions in general are spot on, but his impression of Owen Wilson is like, you close your eyes, it's just like, that is Owen Wilson.
It's pretty great.
Now, Format. Do you feel like it kind of stalled out this episode, or did you actually really like it, or do you think it's
Not at
going somewhere?
all. After last episode, because I was kind of expecting last episode to kind of stall out and be like the exposition dump. And it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't, because like things were always moving. But with this one, it was even more so. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't really a moment where everything just kind of slowed to a crawl.
Right.
Like even after they got caught, it was kind of a like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Right.
Yeah, I thought, I still think it's a good show. I still think it's doing quite well at fleshing out the lore from all of that.
Now, with that in mind, we've got 2 episodes left. What it's leading up to, or what have you, it's at tonight's episode that we're gonna see premiered tonight. Do you think that this is gonna have bigger effects on the actual universe itself because of Loki, or what do you think? What's your take on that?
That I'm not too sure of, just because of I think it would make sense. Okay, so this is an idea that I've kind of seen go around, and it's that Loki is the MCU's version of Molecule Man Owen Reese.
Interesting.
So if that's the case, then there will always be a Loki. Lokis don't truly die, because that's just the way the Molecule Man works. Because he's actually meant for bigger and better things. But that's just theory crafting. So who knows if that'll actually take root.
Sure.
But I do enjoy where it's headed. I'm just curious how they're going to wrap all this up. Because
you're definitely invested. You're still invested.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. So it seems
I was
like
invested from the
invested.
get-go.
Yeah.
I am wondering if, as far as this TVA thing and all these time branches and this whole organization goes, and how the world is opened up in a whole new way for the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not saying it would be a disappointing thing. I'm almost wondering if it's going to be a joke that only we're let in on, in a manner of speaking, for the Marvel Universe. Like the rest of the universe, as far as they know it, will have no concept of this, but we do. Because Loki brought us into this part of the world. So what we're seeing in the Loki show won't necessarily affect the Marvel Universe, but it will be something in the back of our minds that can pop in from time to time when it needs to.
I think that's fair to say, because technically, like that's already happening. Like we know that Loki is running around and whatnot. Right. But as far as that timeline goes that he skipped out on, you know what I mean? Everything is business as usual. Right.
So again, that's what it's coming back to, is like the Avengers are aware of time travel because they've done it.
Right.
But they don't know what the repercussions of doing that is. They just did it to save the world. But they and they don't know that they're in the sacred timeline. They don't know about what happens to branch timelines. And I'm actually starting to wonder, the way the show is going, is that they'll never know. Like it's just going to be something.
I can see that.
I just think it's something that us, the audience, will know about, and it'll pop in when it needs to. So we'll see it again, probably, like in another movie. Like it might even just be a throwaway joke by the time Marvel gets around back to it, where something will happen, then we'll see somebody from the TVA show up and fix something, and everybody will be like, "Oh, what the hell was that all about?" But we know what that was.
Yeah.
So then we could go into like, "Oh my God, something would have happened there had they not intervened." So
I think it's neat because they had stated from the beginning that they wanted to make sure that you didn't have to watch the TV shows to like be kept in the loop. But it's kind of neat that they're doing this So, like, technically, if all you wanted to do was be, up with the MCU lore, like, technically, you wouldn't have to watch the TV stuff. But this is like extra side stuff, just for the fans, kind of stuff.
Interesting.
And I kind of dig that. What I'm curious about, because I'm wondering if they're going to do another bait and switch, like how they did with the Mephisto thing, and everybody was like, "Oh, Mephisto," and then they were like, "No, not even close." So a lot of people have been rumor milling about Kang, and so it would be hilarious if it's absolutely not that.
My prediction is this. This episode tonight,
Right.
you're going to get to see Sylvie do a lot of the stuff that we didn't see her do in the first place that we knew she had done.
Right.
And then right at the tail end of that whole montage, she turns around. It's Agatha.
Oh my gosh! Holy cow! Really?
It was Agatha all along.
The whole
Agatha
time.
was a Loki.
Well, I mean, that kind of begs the question that just kind of popped into my head after this last episode is, what did the TVA have to say about Wanda's pocket reality? I mean, I'm sure that altered the timeline, or, because she's altering reality.
Is the astral plane part of it, though? Isn't that what she was accessing? Because that's
so.
the way I
And the reason I say that is because there's one theory that holds kind of water, that the Wanda's kids, Billy and what's his face?
Jimmy. Billy and Jimmy.
Sure, Billy and Jimmy. That's but
It was
they're
Procter and Gamble, by the way.
Procter and
Procter
Gamble.
and-
Benson and Hedges, right? Benson and Hedges.
Benson and Hedges.
It was Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. That's what their names were.
Great movie, by the way.
But some theories say that the TVA is who's holding those kids prisoner, because they were aberrations of the timeline, and she created them, as an alternate kind of reality to her life.
I guess so.
I
mean,
I
the
just
way
think
I
it would
saw
be
it was, if the timekeepers can see all of the future, and they're just trying to maintain the future, then they knew that everything was going to be resolved at the end of that. So that's why they didn't step in.
Well, maybe part of the resolution was them coming and snatching the kids away when they left the room. They went downstairs to say goodbye to each other. I don't know.
Well, the other thing of it is, whatever the story is left with those kids, we have to chalk it up to as part of the sacred timeline they keep talking about.
Sure, yeah.
Whether they took them or it's something else.
It was kind of in keeping with the topic that Phormat was saying, that this TV stuff is all auxiliary stuff, but that's not to say that it doesn't tie in with itself too, because
it doesn't mean what's happening isn't important. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it would be interesting to see that there be some kind of crossover between the two, WandaVision and Loki. But
from show to show, yeah. But I don't think we'll see references like in the movies. I mean, maybe references, but not necessarily like one of the kids are going to pop in.
I'm not even talking about the movies. I'm just saying it'd be interesting if there was some kind of connectivity between WandaVision and Loki. That would be fun for me, at least.
Maybe that's why they rearranged the order of the show too, though, to go with Alika's theory. That's why Falcon's in the middle. That way, you wouldn't immediately put the correlation between the two right away.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Because if you did WandaVision and then immediately Loki afterwards, you're gonna probably, maybe because with those two back to back, you would assume there's a connection between the two. So maybe Alika's right. With having Falcon in the middle, you wouldn't even be thinking about it.
That's Malcolm in the middle.
It hurts my soul, but Alika might be right. It hurts my soul.
Did you just say Falcon in the middle?
Falcon in the middle. That's good.
That's great.
That's good. Drew says time travel paradox gives him a headache. And he also says, on its own, separate from the movies, I have enjoyed Loki, he says. So that's good. That's good. Well, new episode tonight for the guys that you don't want to miss out on. And
in 15 minutes, no less.
Only on Disney Plus.
Well, 15 minutes Hawaii time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Marvel, another Marvel vet is actually making some news. According to the man himself, Blade star Stephen Dorff is not impressed with what he's seen of Disney's
Yeah, you know
Black
what?
Widow.
Nobody's impressed with Steven Dorff getting an entire generation of kids hooked on e-cigs. Thanks a lot, Steven Dorff.
All right,
You're really biting on that. You know why he did that, right?
Because he needs attention.
Because
Because he's not relevant.
Promoting something, he knows it's going to get him in the news.
All right, let me finish the story.
that.
Let me finish the story first. As the as the actor recently asserted that the upcoming entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, quote unquote, looks like garbage. So much so that its production made him feel, quote unquote, embarrassed for the film's star, Scarlett Johansson. Dorff, who can also who can also consider himself a Marvel actor, thanks to his portrayal of the villain Deacon Frost in the 1998 film adaptation of Blade, expressed his unabashed opinion on Black Widow while speaking to his personal career philosophy during a recent interview with the UK news outlet The Independent, telling staff reporter Adam White, quote, "I still hunt out the good quote unquote shiz because I don't want to be in Black Widow. It looks like garbage to me," added Dorff. "It looks like a bad video game.
Let me stop you right there.
Let me
Stop you right there.
What's going on?
Does anybody remember what it looked like when Wesley Snipes cut him in half in Blade?
Blood tornado.
Well, yeah.
No, not that. When he got cut open, his body went
CGI cutscene. Yeah,
there was the cartoon. Literally, not even. It was barely even CG. It was like cartoon blood.
Yeah.
That drew him back to a sort of, but he's gonna say that Black Widow has terrible video game animation.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what he's talking about? I thought he was talking about the new Blade stuff. He's talking about Black Widow?
Yeah, he's talking crap about Black Widow.
He also expressed specific embarrassment on behalf of Johansson, who portrays the film's eponymous Russian super spy, exclaiming, "I'm embarrassed for Scarlett. I'm sure she got paid $5-7 million bucks, but I'm embarrassed for her. I don't want to be in those movies," he continued. "I really don't. I'll find that kid director that's going to be the next Kubrick, and I'll act for him instead." Wow. Jeez.
Have you?
Like,
by the way,
going to ask him.
Have you seen like the last 10 things he did? Because I don't think any of those guys are Kubrick.
Dude, the last 10 things he did, half of them are e-cig commercials.
Will you stop with that? That was like in 2006 or 7.
Legit, like after Blade, everybody was like all poised to forget who Steven Dorff was, like it was happening. Like it was one of those things where he disappears from the public zeitgeist and like he fades away physically. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. And then all of a sudden, the e-cig company gave him a contract, and he's on every billboard being like, "Hey guys, I know you're on the fence about this e-cig stuff being cool or not, but trust me, it's cool. I'm Steven Dorff." And then and then it was okay to smoke e-cigs. He's an idiot.
You did leave out, Greg, that in that article, the writer actually made it a point to say that he was smoking an e-cig during the interview.
Oh, did he? Okay, did I miss that?
I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. In the article, if you actually read it, the writer went on to say that he was smoking.
Hey, what a loser! That guy's a loser.
I will say this.
I mean, again, Greg, this guy, he's getting exactly what he wants.
Sure.
Nobody's asking him to be in these big franchise movies.
Nobody is, correct.
And he doesn't have a name for himself. Like, he never really did. And, like, so he's taking advantage of a movie coming out very soon and using it to get his name out into the news so people will pay attention to what he's doing. And then maybe it'll help get the next thing he's doing going if he's got something promoting going at all right now. He knows exactly what he's doing. Because you know what? If it was really a matter of these corporate big mega blockbuster movies, then why would he pick the one that just happens to be coming out right now?
Correct.
You know what I mean? He didn't say any of this when Endgame came out. He didn't say any of this when the last 10 years of Marvel films came out. He's picking the one that's coming out right now.
Yeah, and I will say this, and from someone who has seen the film, I've got to tell you something. This Black Widow movie is so much better when you guys see it.
I literally didn't show up last week to not hear that you got to see it before the rest of us. And here you are doing it again.
I'm just saying that I think a lot of this kind of conversations will end the moment you see Black Widow.
What conversations?
Steven, let's be honest. Steven Dorff isn't the only guy that has. Steven Dorff is not the only guy that has their reservations about Black Widow. You see it online.
Dude, he's just talking crap about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I understand that there are people that are talking crap about Black Widow before they've seen it. And to be fair, I understand that. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. But I think
such a weird thing to put a soapbox to stand on.
I think whatever concerns that there are will all be addressed once you see it, and that's from a guy who's actually seen it twice.
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Greg got to see it before you guys did. You want to make sure you know
shut
that.
your mouth. It comes out, by the way, this Friday. Only on Disney Plus and in theaters, so make sure you check it out. And by the way, Steven, I'm really sad, man, because Blade's such a great movie and you're great in it. So it's really sad that I'm assuming that he disavows Blade. Then maybe.
Well, that's the kind of bitch of it. The whole thing. He is kind of like the most memorable villain of the Blade Trinity.
I was a Stephen Dorff man.
Yeah,
he smoked cigarettes and kept people in the fridge.
What's funny is that Marvel films, as they are now, in a way, in very small ways, kind of piggybacked off of that Blade movie.
Yes, 100%. I agree.
Blade came out at a time where Hollywood was like, we can't do these superhero movies. They're not working out well for us. They're on the decline.
Right.
Blade came up out of nowhere, and that was a big hit. And that's
dude.
Hollywood a little bit.
I didn't even know Blade was a comic book movie.
Well, yeah, they didn't even market it as one back then.
Yeah. No, they didn't. No, not at all. Absolutely right. Todd, what were you going to say,
Blade
Todd?
Movie?
Get close to the mic. What were you going to say?
Blade's got one of the best Marvel villains ever.
Thank you.
And a movie. I mean, the Marvel movies have very good villains.
Yeah, the old vampire guy that gets his teeth plucked out.
Yeah.
He was great.
He was fantastic. And you know who else is in that movie? Donald Logue. He's great in that film. He's great in that movie. He's great in that movie. I love that guy.
Tracy Lords is in there too.
Yes, she is. She's great in that movie too.
Speaking of Donald Logue, although not really about Donald Logue, because you probably got a bunch of other news to bring up. So I'm just gonna bring up since you brought up Donald Logue.
Sure, go ahead.
Danny Trejo's autobiography came out today.
Oh,
and Donald Logue, I think Donald Logue actually wrote it based on interviews and conversations with Danny Trejo. So I guess he's kind of just
cool.
So I guess he just hung out with Danny Trejo and got his stories and how he would recite these things, I guess. And Donald Logue actually wrote everything out. So it's Danny Trejo's autobiography just came out today. So Danny Trejo's story written by Donald Logue, I guess.
Oh, so interesting. All right, I'll check. I'll check that out and see if Donald Logue is.
That is a book to read. I mean, that guy had a crazy life before he ever even touched Hollywood.
It's got to be better than Speed 2.
Can I tell you something? And I can't believe I'm admitting this on the show. I haven't read it. I haven't read it, but I've only listened to it. I'm going to tell you something, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
The Speed 2 audiobook.
No, I listened to Matthew McConaughey's book Green Lights, and it's actually pretty damn good when he reads it. Not gonna lie.
I wouldn't bash that. He's probably got some. I mean, I've listened to the man speak just about it. I guess about himself, but he has a way to tell. He has a way of telling a story.
He tells a good story, and I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't have read it, but listening to him read his book is actually fascinating.
I'm
and
starting to feel like you have a thing for Matthew McConaughey because you're like, I don't want to read it. I just want to hear his voice tell me his story.
All right. Yeah, so it makes me
I
feel
bet
like
he did that a lot.
Well, these are.
I got the book that, by the way.
Huh?
Why didn't he call the book that, by the way?
Because basically what he's saying is that in life you need to look for the green lights. Essentially, so it's just a metaphor for doors, kind of. So instead, stop
doors.
Yeah. So instead of being enamored with the red lights to tell you to stop, look for the green lights to tell you to go. That's kind of what essence of it is.
He didn't see any red lights when Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4 came up.
Shut your mouth. That's underrated.
Let me finish. And look at where he is today.
That's a good point. That's right. Big shout out to Bronzebeard 808.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, he might not be where he's at now.
Where is he?
Hey, he's making millions being Matthew McConaughey.
He's making millions pretending to have AIDS.
Hey, stop it. Bronzebeard 808, he says, give me the green light. Agreed.
I don't know what that means.
Cool. By the way, check out Bronzebeard 808's Twitch stream. It's pretty cool. You definitely want to check that out if you're on Twitch, by the way.
Oh, you know that guy.
How do I know that guy? He's number one. Phormat knows him as well. He's a cool cat, and he plays a great game called Elder Scrolls. So he's a
cat?
Yeah.
Cat's
he's my dog. He's a cat, and he's my dog. So that's pretty cool.
Wait, you can't be a cat and a dog unless. If
really?
Jurassic
Who
Park,
says?
Well, again, let me finish. Jurassic Park does teach us life finds a way.
Oh, okay. I know that Gannon loves when I traffic in these kind of stories, but they always make good fodder for the show. A new rumor suggests that director Andy Muschietti's upcoming The Flash film.
Whoa! You can't say shitty on the pod, dude.
His name
He
is
said Moose Shitty.
His name is Muschietti's. A new rumor suggests that director Andy Muschietti's upcoming The Flash film may take inspiration from Disney and Rian Johnson's treatment of Luke Skywalker in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. By
I haven't seen this.
And not Batman.
By emasculating and humiliating its two principal heroes, Barry Allen and Bruce Wayne. / Batman, Michael Keaton, in order to present Supergirl as the film's hero.
Where do you get your news from?
Get this, in a recently leaked featurette meant to serve as a promo for the upcoming DC film, Muschietti can be heard referring to a Justice League.
You can't say that word.
He referred to a Justice League that, quote unquote, that is not the powerful Justice League that we all know, before making an ambiguous reference to a half solar powered alien
need to see this source.
And two idiots, and adding, quote, I embrace the fact that these underdogs are going to save the world. So,
okay, A, I need to see where you found this story. B, where is that featurette? Because you know what, this would have been shared a lot if this thing actually.
I would. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm only reading the story. That's why I wanted to know.
Well, what I'm saying is you're in the wrong place to read these stories. It just sounds like the kind of place where people make crap up because somebody's reciting some featurette they got early.
That's
what. Can someone tell me what Steven Dorff thinks of this?
Oh, he thinks it sucks.
It's interesting. I mean, you know, we're just making assumption, or he's making, or Muschietti, if he did say this, it's an interesting assumption. Well, we won't know until we actually see it.
I don't even know why we're pulling it apart, because this sounds like the kind of crap that someone made up just to get a tracking on the internet, and you bit. So way to go, Rick.
Hey, listen. Stop it. That's what we do here. We traffic in rumor and conjecture.
Somebody recite a video they found instead of shared it.
That's what makes nerd culture fun. Rumor and conjecture.
It's the thing that kills it, actually.
Oh, stop it. It does not. It's fun.
It's the thing that kills it.
Someone get Ja Rule on the line. I need to know what Ja thinks.
Also, in more nerd culture news, it appears that Zack Snyder is slightly backtracking and changing his mind on his proposed ending for a Justice League trilogy.
I knew it.
As the director recently
help himself.
As the director recently claimed that he originally planned for the mastermind behind Darkseid's defeat to be someone who's both not a hero and usually not a member of DC's premier super team. During a recent interview with the DC Cinematic Podcast, Snyder claimed in the moment that he originally intended for Lex Luthor, not Batman, to make the ultimate sacrifice and put an end to Darkseid's ambitions in the final battle. Quote, we talked about that. In the final battle, he's the one that brings the nukes into Darkseid's spaceship and detonates it himself. Snyder said of Lex saving the world. That's what he said. This would have been an ironic twist since Lex was, according to storyboards made public earlier this year, to spend his time in Justice League 2 working in concert with longtime Batman villain the Riddler to help the Lord of Apocalypse solve the anti-life equation.
The Riddler?
With this new bit of info, it now sounds as if Superman's arch nemesis might not have understood what he was getting into. Snyder says, quote, it's kind of like he wasn't down with the concept of completely destroying mankind. He didn't realize that was the bet. Thus, never one to take the humiliation of being lied to or making a bad investment lightly. Lex then goes to the extreme of blowing Darkseid and himself sky high in order to avenge his mistakes. Quote from Snyder, so that kind of thing is something we would be capable of. He could go all the way. In the original tentative ending of Justice League 3, Batman was the one intended for the big endgame style sacrifice against Darkseid, a character whose selfless abandon would have made much more narrative sense. In Snyder's storyboards, Bruce was meant to be the father of Lois.
You need to bullet point this instead of reading the entire thing.
I know. Well, here's the thing. In Snyder's storyboards, Bruce was meant to be the father of Lois's child and would be mortally wounded, protecting her from a blast of Omega beams meant to kill her, a development which would have set off the DCEU's now infamous Nightmare World. The child, his son, would have been raised by Clark and Lois before growing up to become the new Batman. So it's interesting.
Oh wait, there's not 18 more paragraphs of that to recite to everybody.
Hey, why don't you shut your mouth? I was just giving you what Mr. Snyder had to say about his own.
No, okay, and let's say this is all true. He said all this because I haven't watched video of this, and neither of you. But let's say he did say this. He is onto something, and let's say that was his plan. It proves to all the people that hate him that he doesn't understand the character, although he would have been onto something in the sense that Lex Luthor would do that, but that would not be his motivation. His motivation in doing that would be the guy to actually be the one to save the world instead of Superman.
Well,
which has been Lex Luthor's core thing from the beginning, to prove that that human beings can be the masters of their own destiny, to basically be gods in and of themselves, that they don't need to rely on these superpower beings to save them. Lex Luthor, I could see Lex Luthor doing some of this, doing that, but not for that motivation. It would be so he would be the savior of the world, not Superman.
Interesting.
And if they did do that, it would be actually kind of this weird bittersweet ending where the good guys won, but not because of the good guys. The bad guys actually were the ones that beat the other bad guys. Although, if the best he could come up with is he bombed Darkseid with nukes, that's weak as hell.
It kind of is, to be honest. It kind of is. I don't know if you know this, little aside, Zack Snyder's Justice League, of course, is streaming on HBO Max in color and in black and white. And get this, is coming to Blu-ray on September 7th. I didn't know that until just now.
Yeah, I'll jump the gun about the UK one. I didn't think we were going to get it here.
Yeah, we're getting it on September 7th.
Although I think the black and white is still exclusive to HBO Max. I don't see that listed as a feature for the 4K or Blu-ray. So I think if you want to see the black and white, you start through HBO Max.
All right. Well, I remember last week, Phormat and Kai. Remember when I said that, and even Todd, you remember this. Remember when I said we weren't going to talk about manga for a while?
Yeah, you barely talk about manga at all.
Well, I lied. And
Mangoes are delicious.
Mangoes are delicious. They're very tasty, especially when they're cold in the morning. I think they're fantastic. A little bit of lemon. Interesting news on the manga front. It looks like following their banning of various shonen anime titles from being distributed within Russia, get this, it looks like that Russia is now at war with anime, and it looks like they are going to, get this, they are going to ban Akira. And the reason why they are going to ban Akira, the state government is going to ban Akira on grounds that it could, quote unquote, harm the health and mental development of children. As announced by the United Press Service of the Courts of St. Petersburg via their official Telegram account on July 5th, the county's government honored the prosecutor's request to ban the distribution of Akira based on that belief. The court further noted that this decision was made in light of the previous bans issued against other anime series, including Tokyo Ghoul, Death Note, and Konosuba. I've never heard of the last one. I don't know what Konosuba is.
Konosuba, it's more of a comedy-related stuff, but it's kind of perverted.
Okay, so it's kind of perverted.
Manga that's perverted? The hell you say?
I know. I was going to say manga's
you know the thing
is like tentacles and stuff, right?
This is what's happening in Australia too, where it's saying that it's affecting the children with bad ideas. It's gonna be like this everywhere. Everyone's gonna take their pot shots at something that's way popular than it needs to. We're having only because manga and anime are getting more popular in the state or across the world now? I should say, not in just the States. Well,
would that be? Yeah, I would say
the
that
growth in popularity definitely puts more eyes on the product.
Sure, 100%. 100%. And I mean, Russia can do whatever the hell they want. It's their own country, I guess. But I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious if other countries will do this too.
Well, we're already having that with both here in America, where they're trying to ban certain things. And then there's also, I believe, a court case is happening in India too, where they're trying to ban certain light novels that's coming towards their country. So there's a lot of this happening all over the place. China is trying to get into the industry where they're trying to control it from their side, while in Australia they're banning it outright, saying that it's basically it's bad for the mental health of young adults and everything.
Yeah.
So
now, is this now? But manga is basically geared towards young adults, isn't it? Or am I wrong about that?
No, it's geared to a wide variety of different people, because you can go and look online. You'll find a manga for you. That's not just one. Genre.
Todd is about comics and how they're for everybody. It's the same thing applies to manga.
Yeah,
gotcha. I gotcha.
There's like a genre. There's a book out there for everybody.
Yeah, this should be for comic books. There should be a genre for everyone.
So what you're saying is Todd's the gatekeeper. I got it. I heard you loud and clear.
No.
Speaking of anime.
Yeah, but his gate's more like a portcullis.
Wait, before we walk away from this one, I just want to point something out. Just because a country's going to block it for now doesn't mean it's not going to get through. If people want something, they're going to find a way around it.
Yeah, right. Well, look at weed.
Yeah, look, we have perverts in the chat. Daniel says, I love manga full of perversion. And Carl says, hentai manga. So good on you. Speaking of manga, did you guys get to see the season 2?
Carl likes yaoi. He likes hentai, but I think he probably likes yaoi more.
Did you guys happen to see the season 2 trailer for Demon Slayer? It came out?
I kind of seen something.
I think I saw that thing ages ago.
Oh, did you really?
I don't remember there being like a recent announcement.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't get to see, I only saw that today, so I was just curious if you guys got to see it.
Oh, neat.
Anyway,
hey, did anybody see that Batman trailer from last year?
No one cares.
Hey, Todd, 1 second.
I mean,
now.
You mean the Flash movie?
Yeah, no.
Right before we move into
only has the Batman in it.
Right before we move into games and releases for the week, I thought I'd bring this up because once again, this is something everybody can talk about and get angry about or whatever. In a response to a fan who complained about the race swapping of characters in Kevin Smith's upcoming Netflix-produced Masters of the Universe Revelation series, which has thus far seen both Andra and King Grayskull change in such a way from their original forms, Netflix director of original series Ted Biaselli has revealed that the production team made the decision to alter the two characters out of a fear that the new characters, quote-unquote, could be easily rejected. On July 3rd, just days before its slated July 7th release date, it looks like Bleeding Cool founder Rich Johnston published a report on a particular panel from the premiere issue of Dark Horse's Masters of the Universe Revelation prequel comic book series, which recently leaked online. In the leaked panel, it is revealed that in this continuity, King Grayskull, the historical ruler of Eternia, whose power fuels Prince Adam's transformation into He-Man, is now a black man, quote unquote. The version of the King Grayskull can now also be seen in the series Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 1 trailer, standing behind an untransformed Prince Adam as a member of the Guardians of He alongside fellow Guardians, Hero. That's hilarious. And
because he's been around since the old cartoon.
Yeah, but that's still funny though. Come on, I know it's still funny though. Shortly after this news broke, it was shared.
He-Man's not silly at all.
It's still that's stupid too. Everybody knows He-Man is stupid too.
Everything about it's silly.
Yeah, he was shared. It was shared to the shared wall of the private face
and the man.
Shortly, all right. Let me finish. Shortly after this news broke,
I don't want to let you finish because you're reading the entire article instead of.
I'm not reading everything. This is the last of it. Okay. Shortly after this news broke, it was shared to the shared wall of the private Facebook He-Man and She-Ra fan group, Shadow Weaver's realm, whereupon it was met with disappointment by a black member of the group who stated, "Ugh, I prefer making new, unique black characters and race swapping originally white characters," quote unquote. So it looks like there is even more controversy surrounding the He-Man, I guess, comic and or series that's coming out on Netflix.
Okay,
So-
can I point something out that
Sure.
in the original He-Man series, they barely mentioned King Grayskull. Now,
Sure.
if you, that's
I don't even
fine.
think they showed him.
No, they did. The only time they
No, everything was run by the sorcerers.
yeah, so the only time we actually got a good image of King Grayskull is probably the 2002 He-Man series, when we had the short series, The Power of Grayskull.
Yeah.
But even
I-
then, this show is not continuity with that.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if I would prefer any other thing, but then it's fine. It's just there's barely anything on King Grayskull. So if they want to make him black, whatever, make him black. I just hope there's a good story to him. That's all I want.
I think what matters the most is the story, and I think that's what's going to see the series through regardless. It doesn't matter how it ends up.
Okay.
If the story's
So
good.
we all
works.
agree. We'll wait till the show comes out. Anyway, Tomorrow War sucked.
Hey, first of all,
I kind of liked it.
we're not.
I liked it, man. I thought
Yeah.
that I thought the aliens were cool.
Yeah,
it was a good B movie popcorn flick. I just turned off my mind.
I am clearly in a parallel universe.
you're out of your mind. I thought Tomorrow War was a lot of fun. It was
Yeah.
stupid but fun.
Okay,
It was
so
stupid fun.
everybody likes it. Everybody likes this movie.
I
So
thought
then
it was stupid, but I thought it was fun.
Okay,
was fun.
so can any of you guys explain to me why, when the draft has been going on for quite some time now, a while,
Mhm.
why is it that they get to Chris Pratt by the time they get to like the fat loser people and business ladies and stuff like that? Why did they get to him in the initial draft and he made it all the way to when they had very loser people left? How come he wasn't one of the first ones to get drafted?
Maybe because he didn't want to go.
Number
No,
one.
that's not how a draft works, stupid.
Well, they mentioned he mentioned that he had like a work release thing because he's not-
Right. He did mention that he was a work release because he was a teacher.
But he would have gone if they had asked him.
No, but they were
Right?
they were coming
He's
to
a
the bottom.
scientist and ex-military.
Right, they were coming to the bottom of the barrel at that point. So they were, and not saying that Chris Pratt's character was at the bottom of the barrel, but he was working with high schoolers. He was a teacher, so therefore he had I don't want to say a permission slip because that sounds stupid,
But if they
that's
were
why.
so desperate that they're now sending in guys that are 400 pounds, they would still stick to, oh, well, these high schoolers need to learn about volcanoes.
Well, no, but the fact is,
When
that
the entire world is at stake.
the last person, it wasn't like we all knew that Chris Pratt was going to be the hero, right? That's the whole point. He was a nobody.
I'm not even talking about that, but he's ex-military and a scientist and understands what's happening. Even in a minute kind of way. But they don't draft him until they're like stuck with the losers left.
Hey,
and once again, though, that's kind of the point of the show. His vocation prevented him from going because of what he was doing, right? So
okay,
therefore,
one more time, since apparently you don't understand. The entire world is at stake.
right,
Doesn't matter. He's a teacher.
right. But what I'm saying is that
You don't
that's not.
care what his job is when the entire world is at stake from the aliens wiping you out.
But the whole point is that you have to have a semblance of some kind of order within the world you are living in, right?
Even then, the entire world is at stake.
Right.
That's why you gotta suspend your disbelief.
No, but I know you think he's a good candidate, but they probably sent better candidates. At
Right.
the beginning of the movie, we see him not get a job because he went to Caltech and he didn't go to MIT or didn't go to Harvard or something.
That's a job, not defending the
But
world.
but still,
like,
but
why
that-
would
that-
that- so we see him get a he talks about getting a work release. Then we see him not getting a job because he's just a high school teacher. He's not really that good of a scientist. And
Right.
we don't know what his military record was either. We don't know whether or not he's actually like
So you don't think a healthy man in his 30s who has some idea of how to use a gun wouldn't be one of the first guys to go?
Right,
dude.
None of you think that.
But there are plenty of Green Beret and special forces and Delta Force out there, and people in British SAS, and there are probably tons of those people that don't have families,
but
that don't have jobs, that are way better to go at the beginning of the film.
And on top of that, you have to remember something, which a lot of people don't remember, is that the military had access to when these people were going to die.
Yeah.
And that was important. So they were picked not just because of their vocation,
but then why
also,
wait?
But that's the point is that you can. The whole point was the paradox, right? The whole point is the time paradox. And now, once again, I will say this: we are thinking too deeply about a movie that's supposed to be a cross between World War Z and Independence Day, right? We're thinking way too deeply about that. But
I'm
the
not.
whole point. But the
I'm
whole point.
thinking in the most simplest of terms.
The whole point is that
he way earlier than he was.
The whole point was that they were giving him an opportunity to live his life. He had a family, he had a vocation. They knew when he was going to die, and that's how they were drafting people, right? That one dude that they were with, the guy who was single.
I can't go along with that.
The black guy that was single, who was military too, was serving his third term. All right, he was on it again, and they knew when he was going to die.
And then the next thing, the people that they were drafting, they just sent them in wearing their regular ass clothes. So there's a girl going in there with her blazer and a tie, which is not probably the best way to go out to go fight aliens. Like, why you said it at all?
None of it none of that makes sense.
They said that the what do they call them? The spikes, the white spikes, had attacked the laboratory, so they had to send them in early.
Right. So nobody was given. Nobody was running.
Without any better way to get in and out and give their best chance of fighting.
Right. No, that's why they said that
they weren't even in a rush.
They said during the Sabbath is when they send everybody in, so they were waiting 4 or 5 more days to send everybody in, because the Sabbath is when all of these aliens, take a day off. Basically, they all go underground and probably mate so that they can make more aliens.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
they were all.
Plagal in the chat has something interesting. He said to take the people that were going to die sooner than the ones that were going to die later, which I completely understand as well, which does kind of make sense.
That was the point that you were trying to make.
That's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. So that's what we got to look at here. As ridiculous as this movie is, the deeper you look into it, the more absurd it becomes, right?
Mm-hmm. But the fact that time travel in this movie makes way more sense.
To give excuses to have a silly movie, but it's trying to be taken seriously.
But Todd is just about to make a good point, because I was just going to go there. Go ahead, say that, Todd.
I said this is way better time travel than a Marvel movie. This is way better than Infinity War.
It's guilty of the same sins.
I can actually agree with Todd on this.
If they say that you can't travel to
agree.
Time that you get alive in.
No, I get what you're doing, Todd, but everything in that movie is laid out to create excuses of backpedaling your way out of certain things, like how you can only be there for 7 days. There is no logical reason why you can only be there.
They said they're only there for 7 days because it's the safest point. The next Sabbath is the safest point to extract them. That's not why they're. It's not like a time travel rule. It's just that they're not going to be attacked. They can all gather in a certain space.
But why extract them?
The whole point is because there's a couple of
things to win the war. Why would you extract them at all? You send them in there to fight, and then hopefully they can make it.
Number one, the point is
people out. They're going to keep losing ground.
Right, but they're not soldiers, so they're not winning, and they know.
Then why send them at all? Then let's put our heads in the ground and die.
The whole point is that the end is coming. They're trying to delay the inevitable in the movie. That's what they're doing in Tomorrow.
You're going to lose anyway.
No, that's not the point. The point is they're trying to get. The whole point of the notion of them going back in time was to give people hope, because the people that never went didn't even know what the white spikes were or what the aliens look like.
They were told, if we explain to you what they were, you'd be too terrified to go, which is their fun way of saying, we don't want to tell you because we want it to be a surprise later.
Right, but you also got to understand is the reason why they didn't tell anybody, especially the ones that are sitting at home, is because it would give them no hope, and that's the whole point of this movie, is to give people hope, and that's exactly what Chris Pratt's character
Wouldn't
was
it be
attempting
better,
to do.
though, to tell people what it is they were gonna face, what they're capable of, what they can do, so that way they at least have some kind of idea how to fight them, even if they don't know how to fight.
Not, and just like you
As
said,
opposed
not
to just finding out the last possible thing, like, oh wait, these things can climb walls and shoot
not
spikes
if
everywhere,
not if
they
you're
have no
untrained. Not if you're untrained. They don't have time to train people.
If you're in a desperate situation where you're hoping to, again, using your word hope, to live and survive this thing, wouldn't you want to give people the best possible chance by giving them as much as they could possibly use, as in what these things look like, how they get around, what they look like, how many limbs they have, how they hide, how they move?
They probably tried to do that with Special Forces and Delta Force and SAS,
and they were destroyed.
And they were all, and they said they sent thousands of them. And
so then I come back to my other point: why bother at all then?
Go ahead, Todd.
They're just sending people over to die, so why bother at all then?
Dude,
they don't know. They're sending them to a future point, so people come back. They say, "Look, we need you, but we can't send." They already said we can't send you back. We can't send you forward, so we can't send you to before when the white spikes emerge in Russia, and we can't send you.
Well, they didn't know either then.
No,
right.
they established that though. They said, "Why are we doing this now?" Because they're, and this is where Todd's right about his time travel, theory. The fact is, there's only 2 points that they can travel within. That's it. They can't travel back to figure out how they were there to begin with, and they can't travel to the future to find out what's happening. There's only 2 points on this. And once again, like I said, you look too deep into this, you get freaked out. They're saying that
I'm not freaked out. I'm just trying to understand it.
What I'm saying is with the future thing is the reason that they're going back to recruit people is that the population has dwindled in such a significant way that they need to recruit people from the 20 years or 30 years previously, and they don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
So if they're facing insurmountable odds, seemingly, they think they're going to be extinct. And if they keep getting killed at the same rate that they've been getting slaughtered, the human race is going to go extinct in 11 months, is what they say. So they don't know the future, but they do know the past. And so they know when people are going to die. And that's why it didn't create a paradox for some people to travel into the future. And so they picked the best candidates in descending order until they were left with nothing. And they picked a guy who was a washed up, ex-military high school teacher. And they were down to that guy. And I'm sure that they wanted to pick a bunch of other people before him.
But not just that too. Remember, and once again, spoilers. Once again, Chris Pratt going back or going to the future, he is creating a time paradox because he meets his daughter. So essentially, what's happening is that because no one else has that story, right? No one else has met their significant other in the future, or their kid, or or themselves, because they're trying to avoid these paradoxes.
That's what I was fine with, because that's how they were able to change it, which they couldn't anticipate. So that I was actually fine with.
So I had,
although him having a conversation with his wife, or somehow they all throw it together and figure out that, oh, hey, we should go to that volcano in Russia. I was like, that's how this is going to get figured out. He just has a conversation with his wife.
No, he had a conversation. He had a conversation about what he had known that he got from his daughter, and what was required to make the antidote, number one, and what he learned from those.
Yeah, sure. Folks, right? Like I said, I was all right with that.
Yeah, but it wasn't him. It wasn't them. It was the boy in the high school. Remember? That was a callback.
Yeah, the kid that knew everything about volcanoes.
Right.
Everything.
Exactly.
But it was the wife that.
Yes.
That
it was
set
the
it
wife
all
that
in
helped
motion.
him work out where it was. Yeah.
Correct. And like I said, it's one of
these.
these.
And then the dad had to go help him, and then they did the fake out thing twice, where the dad almost died, but then Chris Pratt saved him twice, because if you do it once very well, you should do it twice. That way, the narrative depth of the moment always they'll ring true when you do it twice. When you look like he's about to grab it, you save him in the nick of time, and you do it a second time, then you're like, oh my God, maybe the third time he won't make it.
I do understand the issues that you're having, but I felt when I was watching it like this was fun enough.
It's definitely like Aliens meets Terminator by World War Z. That's what the movie is. I get it, but it also was asking you to take the movie a little seriously, which that's where I was having a hard time. If the movie had a more Chris Pratt-y kind of tone, and I'm not asking it to be jokey, don't get me wrong, but it was almost demanding you to take it a little bit seriously.
And I think I think that's important for a movie like that, right? Don't you think?
If it was struggling to be Terminator by way of James Cameron, but it's not nearly as clever as it thinks it is.
I think what's fascinating about that is that what I think was fascinating about this whole issue is that this was something where you needed to take it seriously or it was going to be a joke, because you have to, in this kind of movie, you have to believe that the world is at stake, right? Or the human population is at stake. They were going to be.
That you play games with who you send and don't tell them what they're fighting.
That's because they ran out of good people. The military was already dusted at that point. That's why they started the world draft. That was the whole point of the world draft.
I think a good thing to remember is that he wouldn't have been sent if it wasn't for his daughter to begin with.
That is also a good point. Very good point. 100% correct. That is absolutely right. I agree with that. But they
drafting people regardless, even if she wasn't even a part of it.
Everybody was required.
But he had a pass.
Right. Yeah.
So she found a workaround for the pass that made him get drafted.
Right.
It seems like a lot of plot convenience just to string things along.
And you're right.
But isn't that what you're looking for?
Yeah,
that totally sounds like what you're asking for.
Well, what I want the movie to be clever.
Explain this. So I explain it, and you're like, I don't know. That seems really far fetched.
The daughter needed.
Because it's just convenient. It's not. It doesn't feel thought out. Just you have to get them to that point.
I'm not
But you're also
bashing.
setting up this world where the world's at stake, and they're playing these weird logic games in order to send certain people at certain times and others are not. The world is at stake. Why play those kind of games? Like if you're looking
for government, stupid dude, you know that.
Whoa, 100% agreed.
The government's dumb.
They're stupid. They're dumb. I agree.
But
I gotta admit.
Let's listen to how the scientists want us to do this. Okay, let's do the exact.
I think Todd, and I dare I side with Todd on Marvel things. There's a lot of conveniences in Marvel movies, don't you think?
But there's a tone that allows for that, and it winks at you when they do it.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
They know what they're doing. They know what audience they're playing for.
Right, and that's the most ridiculous part about it. It's like we're gonna just throw in an 80 movies reference and just talk about Back to the Future, and it's like, come on, get the hell out of here. We've watched 23 movies. We don't deserve an explanation. You don't want to put any rules for time travel, so we don't know what the is going on.
That's a good point.
I mean, come on.
That's a good point. I got it. Damn, Todd does make a little sense.
But again,
we're just going to do the Marvel thing and write about where we approach,
those movies don't demand you to take them seriously.
But it's just going to be like, you know what? We're going to make a joke, and then blah blah blah. We're Marvel, blah blah blah. Fanboys love it.
No, hang on a minute. I will say that Tomorrow War is
I still love you, Todd.
Tomorrow War is a different beast, and no pun intended. But I will say
again, the movie was trying to make you take it very seriously, but it's trying to get away with the kind of tropey stuff that would happen in a sillier film. Maybe it's only me that sees it that way, and I'm starting to get. I guess I understand.
I think that's fair to gather,
but it wants you to treat it as seriously as you would James Cameron's T2. But at the same time, like it plays so fast and loose with what it needs to do in order for all these things to happen that like that's why I was overthinking a lot of these things. So I'm just like,
right.
Okay, well, if this is this serious, why are we waiting to send one of the most able-bodied guys in right away? Tell everybody what it is they're fighting. Even if they're not capable, they're at least going to know what they're up against. Instead of being like, we don't want to tell you because then you're not going to go. It's like, well, you're going to send them anyway. That's going to make them more terrified of what there could be anything.
Listen, you had a crop duster destroy an alien ship in Independence Day. I mean, let's be honest. And that
he was abducted by them before, though, so he knew what that ship looked like.
Right, but that was the whole point of the secrecy
And
was
going back and going to that point, that movie also didn't expect you to take it very seriously either.
I think that I don't.
Welcome to Earth.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you took Tomorrow War as seriously as you did because it was so.
The tone of that movie made me feel like I needed to treat it that seriously. And when I tried to go along with it, when I tried to go along with it emotionally, when I tried to go along with it emotionally, that's where I got hung up on these things. I'm like, okay, well, this seems very serious. The world's at stake. Everything's desperate. There's only one way to fight these things. We're just going to kind of glance past the fact we invented time travel in the future because we just need it to exist. So we're going to send these people from the present to the future, not tell them a damn thing, let them wear whatever business attire they were wearing because that's going to be real helpful. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's fair to say. When I went in to the movie, I was expecting like an alien type, you know what I mean? Because the way they were setting it up, it was very serious. Everything was serious. Everything was on the line. But it felt more like Edge of Tomorrow. And once I considered it like, okay, this is stupid.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Then I was like, okay, I'm on board now.
If Roland Emmerich made this movie, I probably wouldn't say a damn thing. Honestly, if Roland Emmerich made this movie, I wouldn't have said a damn thing. If there was just a slight little wink going on through that whole movie, then I would have been like, all right, fine. This movie's not asking me to take it seriously. This movie's not asking me to think too much about stuff. But because it demands you to treat it so seriously and so dramatic with the interplay between,
I mean, the way it opens, where they're falling out of the sky, like, dude, that's some serious shit.
Dude, I didn't even talk about how that girl walks through a time portal and she's able to address an entire stadium of people with no mic.
No, but that's the point. Though. No, number one, I think that the ridiculousness of her.
I just figured she used that wizard spell that lets her magnify her voice.
There was alien tech involved for sure, but what the ridiculousness?
What alien tech? Those things were savage beasts.
The ridiculousness of this whole thing, because she's from the future and they can use future tech, right? The ridiculousness and this is where I knew the movie.
As long as it cannot beat aliens.
Well,
it's useful.
As long as I knew it wasn't going to be serious. Once the symbolism of this team coming onto the field of the World Cup to make an announcement, I was like, okay, this is dumb, but I'm with it.
There's no tone, no intended tone to make you feel like that's silly. They want you.
Yeah, even the music during that scene gets heavy and dramatic.
Again, like if the tone.
I mean, I don't know if they were gonna play like Calliope music or nothing, but it.
If the tone of the movie wasn't expecting me to take it so seriously, I wouldn't even cared about all that crap. But because the movie demanded me to take it so seriously, then I was like, okay, well, how serious is this situation really? If they're sending in Chris Pratt pretty late in the game. I don't care what his work vocational. You wouldn't care about that if you're trying to beat these things.
And yes,
I think one thing to take note though is that Chris Pratt is not like the hero of his world. Like we know he's the hero because he's got the top billing.
Right.
But in his world, he's just some schmuck who failed out of the military.
Correct. I agree with 100%. He's just a guy.
Granted, but he also knows how to handle a gun better than any Joe Schmo that they picked for the draft. You know what I mean?
Well, those are the Joe Schmoes that we saw that went with him. We don't know about the Joe Schmoes that got killed before they went.
Oh, I guarantee you the first wave was just cannon fodder. They probably died in 5 minutes.
But you're making your point. If they were cannon fodder, those were all the military guys that were getting sent.
I'm just saying in the world of the movie given to me. I'm not saying how it would have actually been handled if this was like an actual serious thing.
Right. But what I'm saying in the world of the movie, they sent all of the people that were better than Chris Pratt before for months and months and didn't make any progress.
He wouldn't be one of the last guys left behind with all this.
I think he would be. I mean,
I don't think so at all.
I think he would be.
I'm sure there's like another character who was also in the military, but he like pushed pencils and he didn't get drafted until after Chris Pratt came back.
Well, think about the guy that was on his third tour.
Yes.
That guy was the guy. That's the hero. That's the guy.
Right.
Chris Pratt is not that guy.
Correct.
Chris Pratt has a bunch of stuff to lose. That guy doesn't have anything to lose.
That guy had nothing to lose. 100%. He's the hero.
He's the hero. He's your.
Well, we're not talking about that.
No, but that's the point that you're making. That guy.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're sending people to go fight with the intention of saying, you know what, we need to try and win this thing, you're not going to get hung up on who's got family, who, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get hung up on who's family, who can fight, but you would definitely send the guy that's handled a gun before.
I'm going to say something
I can see them holding on to cops. That I can see. But they're sending out all the military they got, any ex-military they got. They're going to find gangbangers and send them out first thing. They're going to send anybody who knows how to handle a gun first thing. Chris Pratt would have been one of the first to go.
Can I clear this up? Hopefully with this statement, and I will say this as a final. I can try. I want you to think about something. The reason why this was happening.
Before you finish, let me just put it this way. If we were all drafted to go fight in an alien war, and I looked over and I saw a guy that looked like Chris Pratt, like, how the hell didn't you go first?
No, but
when it's just like he left.
That's and I think that's where you're getting mixed up, because they weren't going to necessarily fight. That's what they were being told, right? What was happening is the military was buying time. What they were trying to do was buy time to find a way to kill these things. They weren't there to destroy them. That wasn't the point. You didn't need these guys there to have the military come in and carpet bomb all these aliens, right?
But isn't the whole point of military strategy, if you're not to win it, is to hold ground? And wouldn't you want to give people the best information they can possibly have to do it?
That is why
the best able-bodied people.
Right, and that is why they put these guys in. This is why they were the research team, the R Force or the R team, right? Because they weren't there to fight anyway. They were there to do research. They weren't there to fight. They were there to help with the research. They were thrown into the situation of fighting. He was there to do research, not to fight. Remember, they went to the research facility and they were already taken. And whatever information
context of when they sent him, sure. But what I'm talking about
also
is the draft situation.
Also, with the draft, and I don't know if this is the way it was in Tomorrow War, but with Vietnam, it was random and it was based on a lottery. They assigned you a number, and then if they didn't call your number, then you didn't go.
Right. The fate of the world
you would go the next round.
And Joel is emphasizing my point. R Force was research, D Force was the fighters. Now,
and so they didn't even know he was R Force until they found out that he was also a scientist.
Until that day, right? Yeah. And so when he was going to assist the research facility with what they were working on.
I get what you guys are making a case for the movie for. I get it, but I'm also saying the point is to go out and kill these things and try to win.
Yeah, but they're not the force to do that.
Nice.
No, but that's the point, is that he was part of the research force, not the fighting force.
And I'm saying he would have been sent a lot earlier than he was. And there's just seems to be excuses based on vocation, which based on the circumstances, they wouldn't be making those kind of excuses.
The excuse ultimately is that his daughter was the one that was the lead on this, and they couldn't have the paradox of them meeting. The desperation of what was happening in the moment is the reason why they had to have met, because they weren't supposed to, right? So
we're gonna get from this director, we're gonna get the Nightwing movie, and we're gonna get a Johnny Quest movie.
He made the Lego movie.
He made the Lego movie.
And he did the Lego Batman. He's going to do Lego Batman 2. He did Lego Batman.
I don't think the Nightwing movie is going to happen, though.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced the movie's going to end up happening.
All right. Well, listen. I will say that I liked Tomorrow War. I thought it was
It's going to be amazing.
4th of July
the Nightwing movie is going to be, oh, man.
By the way, just to let you know.
I hope it's Chris Pratt.
Tomorrow War cost apparently $200 million. It was supposed to come out last year during COVID, Paramount had to
bought it for $5.
Paramount had to take the loss on it and sell it to Amazon, and that's why Amazon.
With the metrics, I mean, with this new streaming metrics, though, I mean, I keep reading a lot of conflicting reports. Some say that it's actually not the loss that we're thinking it is.
It's not
in long term. Because, we can't assume that 200 million some odd people, or however many people it takes to get to 200 million to make it break even, are going to watch it just by paying into streaming. But I don't understand the metrics, but I've read reports that say that they aren't, because they're critical losses that everybody's assuming they are.
No, they're not. As a matter of fact, Warner Brothers, just to give you a heads up, Warner Brothers has said if the movie does well on streaming, it also does well in the movie theater. If it doesn't do well in the movie theater, it doesn't do well on streaming.
Like Wonder Woman 84 supposedly was successful when it started, and that was with no premium pay. There was no. It wasn't in theater. Was it in theater same time? It wasn't. Was it?
Yeah,
it wasn't in theaters and streaming when that one came out.
And the most so far, there's only a couple of unsuccessful movies for Warner Brothers, and that one was, I believe, Tom and Jerry. And the biggest flop for them happened to be In the Heights, which didn't do well in the theater and didn't do well on streaming. So, and that case of
Manuel Miranda thing.
Yeah.
To be fair though, for the Tom and Jerry thing, I don't think there's a ton of marketing for it.
No, there wasn't.
It felt like the only people that even knew it existed had HBO Max. I didn't see anything for it anywhere.
I felt like the only people that knew it was there were the ones that were hoping to see the first 2 hours of the Snyder Cut.
The most attention Tom and Jerry got was when Justice League was on it for a day, or however long it was till they took it off.
Well, I will say this, getting back to the point, I believe Tomorrow War is on Prime. It's worth it to watch it if you have Prime. You'll enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously.
Watch it. Yeah, watch it unless you're me, I guess.
Daniel and Plagle says, "Bring on Tomorrow War 2." Absolutely. Let's see that for sure.
You know, I'm going to tell you this though. I was shocked that they didn't have a post credit for that movie.
I'm actually glad they didn't.
I was like, okay, they're clearly going to have a post credit thing where like there was another ship or a pod or an egg somewhere that got away, or as she was out there, she laid an egg somewhere. Although I'm assuming you can probably just pick that up in a sequel. You just didn't see it in this one.
Yeah.
But good Lord, what's his name? Play the dad. What's the guy's name?
Oh, J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Man, that dude is jacked.
Yeah, he is.
Jacked.
He is terrifying to look at. Like when they showed his guns, just like
ever since his Commissioner Gordon days.
Well, it's funny because we never see him, in anything other than like heavy jackets or whatever. So like you forget that dude is ripped.
Hey, listen.
So that first time, like, damn, that dude is jacked.
How do you beat up and coming jazz musician drummers? It's that with those kind of arms. That's how you do it. It's him. Yep, that's how you do it.
And we get to have him back as J. Jonah Jameson again. How weird is that?
Yeah, we're gonna get a Jack J. Jonah
By
Jameson.
the way, I have to say that I appreciate all of you for not calling me out on my prediction for the Spider-Man 3 trailer not coming out on 4th of July weekend like I assumed it would. Thank you guys for not calling me out on that.
No problem. You called yourself out on it. No worries at all.
But you know what? I base that strictly off of the trajectory of these things, because whenever they start releasing previews of the toys and stuff like that, it means the trailer's right around the corner.
Yeah,
so
That's fair.
I made that assumption and I was wrong.
Can I tell you what did come true, Gannon? And maybe this will get you excited. Guess what? It looks like Mr. Peter Parker himself, Tom Holland, and Zendaya were caught kissing in a backseat of a car.
That's disgusting.
Gross.
Yeah. So Spider-Man and Mary Jane getting it on.
He's too young for that.
Is he too young? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like 9 or something.
I hate to bring this up because it sounds so goofy to say it this way, but did anybody see the Funko Pops they released? The pictures of the Funko Pops for the new Spider-Man movie?
Oh yeah, there was a big issue about that, right? They were revealing
one of them. It almost looks like he has this new kind of device in his suit that allows him to channel Doctor Strange powers. Is what it looks like. I don't know if that's what he's doing, but he looks like he's channeling the same kind of energy as Doctor Strange. So without any context, they released that toy. I'm like, wow, that's kind of a spoiler, but also I have no context to base that off of what he's actually doing there. So, but yeah,
wow.
That could be the Sorcerer Spider, the Peter Parker who ends up becoming the Sorcerer Supreme in his universe.
Well, there's a Doctor Strange figure in the line for the Funko Pops, and I hate saying that, but it's Doctor Strange in like regular clothes, but with the cloak and a shovel. So I can't wait to see what the hell that's about in the movie.
Okay, so wait a minute. Are you? I'm going to throw a picture up there. Just I don't know if this is the one you mean. Is it this one? Is that the one you're talking about? No,
not even close.
It says it's a 2021 one, so I was kind of curious.
You're looking for Spider-Man No Way Home Funko Pop, sir.
All right.
That I think is a costume from the Miles Morales game.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
Where his eyes are like more like LED screens kind of thing.
Got it. All right. Well, let me
You can look it up later and see what I'm talking about. But
I'll look it up later.
Like, it looks like he's like channeling Doctor Strange's power.
Wow. So that would be a Spider-Man Far From Home or Homeward Bound.
No. It's it's No Way Home. I don't know why they're sticking to home as the motif for the titles. By the way, like nobody told them they had to do that.
Is it called No Way Home? I thought it was called Far From Home.
No, Far From Home was the last one. Stupid.
Oh, was it?
Homecoming, Far From Home. The next one's No Way Home.
Oh,
It's a lot of home.
Spider-Man Homeless.
That would have been if Sony stuck to the end of their contract with Marvel.
wow. All right.
Spider-Man Home on the Range.
Wow. Well,
the cast in that movie is absolute. Apparently, Kevin Feige. I never actually read the article, but Kevin Feige made a comment about Alfred Molina basically saying that he was in the new Spider-Man movie because they weren't ready to announce that yet, I guess. And Alfred Molina was saying he was going to be in it. So Kevin Feige, I guess he made a joke at Alfred Molina's expense, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Like Willem Dafoe has apparently been throwing a few hints out there here and there that maybe he's there, maybe he's not.
Nice. All right. Is it this one? Is it these ones?
It's that line, but that's not the one.
It's that line, but not the one.
I was talking about though.
Oh, with the shovel? Oh, wow. That's cool.
He's like wearing regular clothes with a cloak and a shovel. It's in that
cool.
line. If you keep looking, you'll probably find it.
Oh, so I guess Doctor Strange is going to be in it. Wow. How cool is that?
You look on that box, it says it right there. Spider-Man Far From Home, Doctor Strange.
Wow.
It's like when Kenner would do toys, they're just throwing characters.
That's what suit is that Spider-Man's wearing? What is that?
I don't know. It's a black and gold suit.
Looks like the gold night monkey suit.
I'm actually really surprised after that came out in the announcements that almost nobody'd be like, "Oh my God, Venom confirmed." You know what I mean? It's a black suit. That means it's got to be Venom.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, listen, Gannon, please get ready your new releases for the week. A couple of things in the gaming department I wanted to talk about. Yeah, or else. One major thing I wanted to talk about in the gaming department. I did want to talk about Asmongold, but I think I'll forfeit on that. I do want to talk about the
forfeits on that.
Got him. If you don't know by now, it looks like that Nintendo has decided to add a new member to the Nintendo Switch family. It is a brand new 7-inch
Mario.
The brand new system featuring a vibrant 7-inch OLED screen, a wide adjustable stand, a dock with a wired LAN port, 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and enhanced audio. You can feast your eyes on this new
enhanced
Switch.
audio.
Yeah,
on the Switch.
Yeah,
you had me at vibrating 7-inch screen.
Yeah, that's a vibrant, not vibrating. Vibrant.
You lost them again.
I lost them again.
I don't care anymore.
Okay. Okay, so it says that, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to
buy us each a Switch. Awesome.
You should find the instruction manual and then read that entire thing, Greg.
Hey, why don't you shut your mouth? This is going to be the brand new Switch. And
unboxing
this is what
your Switch.
It's unboxing.
Wait. More importantly, what are you drinking, Todd?
Silver Bullet.
Oh, word.
Here we go. Right here. This is what it looks like. This is the brand new Switch, and that's what it looks like. If you guys want to take a look, it does. Does it look wider or whiter? What did you say?
Wider.
Got it. They said, and get this, they said that even though the screen is bigger, 7 inches bigger, and it's OLED, they said all existing Joy-Cons will work for it, and you can even use your
that makes sense because it's only wider. It would still use the same.
Right. They wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. Here's my biggest problem.
Which means that the stupid Joy-Con drift still exists.
Yeah, they couldn't even get any. They couldn't even fix that, could they? Anyway, so what's interesting about this new Nintendo Switch OLED model is it doesn't really do anything as far
Other
as
than
power.
vibrate.
Other than power, it does nothing else.
Power meaning what?
It does as in
consumption, or
the internals. The internals are the same. So there's no you can't play newer games on there with better graphics or anything like that. This is just this is like a half step for a
What do you mean
Switch.
power?
Power as in graphics power. So the graphics are going to be the same. It's got the same onboard graphic system as the old Nintendo Switch. So nothing is really going to change. So
you just said everything's the same except for the power. So I'm asking you what's different about the power.
Everything
and then you
is,
just said everything's the same.
I should say everything is the same with the Nintendo Switch. The one thing everybody was looking for was a increase in the graphics power of the new Nintendo Switch, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, it's just a bigger screen.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's essentially a bigger screen, and it also has enhanced audio. Apparently, they fixed the onboard speakers to not sound as soft as they did on the Nintendo Switch.
No one uses a Switch with the onboard speakers.
They do if they do it handheld. I do it handheld I only.
Everybody's rocking earbuds, dude. Nobody listens to the thing.
The problem
directly.
is that the problem is that unless you have an accessory so that you can use the Bluetooth doesn't work. You have to plug into the Nintendo Switch. So
that's what I'm saying. People use earbuds. I didn't say AirPods. I said earbuds.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Everyone uses. You see switches out in the wild, nobody is listening to the onboard speakers. Well, everyone's using headphones.
They improved the onboard speakers as well, and they gave it a wider stand too. So was
that
so
wider
stupid.
or whiter?
Wider. Stand. A wider adjustable stand is what they gave.
So it's not just on the side; it's like maybe more in the middle.
So instead of it being that
answer all our questions, G.
And instead of it being the stupid kickstand, it's an actual full body stand. So it the way that it sits. So it's a full body stand. It's a full body wide adjustable stand. Yeah. It takes up the full body of the Switch. That's the whole point. It's not like the old Switch. It just had a kickstand. That's what I'm trying to say.
The kickstand was so it's bulkier then because it's got a bigger stand.
No.
Or are you saying it's got like a dock thing it sits in?
No, it's like how the Microsoft Surface is. It's got a stand. It's got a bigger stand so that it's more supported. Okay, it's as simple as that.
So it's a kickstand.
It's still a kickstand, but it's wider. Okay.
Okay. Why don't they just say that? Oh my goodness.
Because it's an adjustable stand. That's what it is.
But it's still a kickstand.
Right.
Well, is it different or is it the same?
It's different. There it is. How about that?
It's the same. It just has a better screen.
It's not the same. It's the different stand. The stands don't look like that on a regular Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
they do not look like that.
Nintendo Switch, it's usually just a little rectangle thing that pops out the back.
We are earning our title tonight, guys.
Right.
This is also a kickstand, but it's like half of the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's like one of what do they call those things? Like an iPad that has a stand on it or whatever, like the Microsoft Surface
call those
does.
things like an iPad. You just sound like a grandpa right
like
there.
Like a tablet.
Those don't have though. Those are all built into a case.
No, they're not built into a case. I'll show you what I mean. This is a Microsoft Surface. This is a kickstand.
You said an iPad, dumbass.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like if this one, I said Microsoft Surface first, and this is what the kickstand looks like. That's what the new Switch is going to have.
Go back to the tape. Let's rewind this whole thing. I need to hear that.
Yeah, rewind it, please, for the love of God. Anyway, so Nintendo is bringing out a brand new Switch that
the Nintendo kickstand. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that is all that's going to be. So if you want a better screen, it's going to be $349.99. It's only $50 more than the older Switch, and it can all be yours.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And,
it's more.
$50 more for
Mhm.
that controller drift that you're still experiencing right now.
and you guys can get it October 8th. You can actually, I think you can start pre-ordering it. I think it's either this week or next week. I can't remember what. Anyway, Mr. Dark Knight. What are we?
That's not his name. His name is Man Greg is dumb, isn't he?
LaBelle 32 of Twitch says, and already sold out before it hit the stores by scalpers. 100%. 100%.
Okay, I thought
No.
I thought we can't call them that anymore.
Yeah, that's what they
I thought
do.
I thought we're only allowed to call them Native Americans from here on out.
You're an idiot. you're an idiot. Gannon, what is coming out this week on Blu-ray? There were some very significant titles. Would you like to go ahead?
Quite a lot. Not a lot for me specifically. That doesn't mean they're not good stuff.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Please be the week.
Don't know if it's a reissue or not, but there's a 4K release for Doctor Strangelove. There is 2 Paramount Classic releases for Blu-ray for 48 hours and another 48 hours.
Oh, nice.
And I'm assuming this has to do with the sequel coming out right around the corner. Space Jam in 4K is coming out.
Garbage.
What?
I hate Space Jam, and the new Space Jam looks like crap too.
It does. There's a couple of horror classics coming out, although I've never actually seen them. Shame on me. From MVD called Mortuary and The House of Sorority Row.
Ooh.
I'm aware of them being classics. I've just never actually sat down to watch them.
Uh-huh.
Somebody apparently must have started a letter writing campaign because Mortal Engines is coming out on 4K. I don't know anybody in the world who's seen that one.
Which one?
Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines?
The Peter Jackson failed attempt at a franchise based on a young adult book series that I don't know anybody who's seen.
I've read the books. They're not quite right.
The trailer looked interesting and nobody thought. Like I don't even remember it coming out, to be honest. Last time I committed suicide. This is a favorite of mine. If you don't know what this one is, this is a Thomas Jane movie where he plays
Rufio.
No, the name is failing me right now. But Neil Cassidy. He plays Neil Cassidy in that movie. Jack Kerouac, friend, beat poets and writers back in the day. This movie is about Neil Cassidy's character. Or Neil Cassidy, and it's a great freaking movie. It's kind of one of these weird forgotten movies. Not a lot of people have seen it, not a lot of people even know about it, but I would definitely recommend getting a hold of that one if you can. Diving deeper into it, I kind of just want to get into the porn films, but I got a couple for you. There's one for you, Greg, a classic film from 1955 that I'm sure you're a huge fan of. It's called Wetbacks.
You're such an idiot.
It's real. It's right here. I'm looking at it.
Who's in it?
People that were alive in the 1950s to the movies. So going back to 4Ks, there's 2 big nerd releases amongst those 2. One is Scott Pilgrim, and got released in 4K. Edgar Wright went back and did I guess a top to bottom remaster on the whole thing visually, and pumped up the audio. So if you got a full on theatrical experience at your house, that's what that's made for.
Sweet.
The other 4K release, and it blows my mind that they spent money to put this into 4K. Howard the Duck got a 4K release today.
I'm very excited for that.
I actually love that movie.
I'm surprised Professor Barry is not on the show tonight, knowing this information now.
Like I said, I can't lie. I love that movie. Everybody else makes fun of it, but I love that movie. It's a lot of fun.
I did too.
Not a lot of movies gave us Leah Thompson in her underwear. That one did.
Yeah.
Okay, so now getting into the actual good movies, we have a movie from 1974 called Icy Breasts on Blu-ray. Everybody's gonna watch that.
You're an idiot.
And then we have, you think I'm making it up? Go look it up. Then we have Emmanuel and the White Slave Trade from 1978. If you know what that is, you're a dirty bird.
Is that Emmanuel with 2 M's?
1 M, 2 L's.
Oh, gotcha.
Emmanuel.
I need to make sure I get the right one.
You guys are dumb.
Emmanuel Black Velvet from 1976. The great thing about the Emmanuel series, it wasn't the same girl from movie to movie. Makes you wonder. Yeah, makes you wonder what happened with those movies. And then there is one more porn-sounding movie. Or no, this is a porn. It's got to be. This one's called 10 Minutes to Midnight. I don't know.
That is not. No, it's not.
It's got to be a porn movie.
No, it is not.
I don't know. Look at the cover right now. This woman's got her mouth agape.
No, it's not.
10 minutes to midnight? What's so important about 11:50 p.m.?
Here is the synopsis, Greg, so I'm sure I'm right. When a punk rock DJ gets bitten by a rabid bat, she turns into... Oh, no, it's not. It's not. Never mind.
Thank you.
Oh, no, but this one definitely is a porn. Kevin Hart, what now?
No. Absolutely not.
What now?
That's what his wife...
Now?
What now?
What now?
What now?
That's it. I mean, there's some stuff coming out on Friday, but it's the Rolling Stones, A Bigger Bang. That's also a porn.
You're an idiot.
That looks like it.
Well, listen, thanks, Gannon. Appreciate all of your hard work on getting that new releases done. Certainly do appreciate it, you freak.
So 2 L's, right?
Wait. I forgot 42nd Street, the musical.
Okay. That sounds. Is that? Would you like to add that to the porn collection as well?
No, I have no idea what the hell that is.
Oh, okay.
If you're a Criterion nerd, and I'm sure I'm sure there's 3 people on our NERDWatch that buy everything Criterion because they want to look sophisticated. There's Bringing Up Baby from 1938 coming out on Criterion.
This month, if you are a Criterion Collection person like I am, 50% off all Criterion Collection from Barnes & Noble. I just purchased my Essential Fellini box set.
Not just Criterion, Arrow Films too.
You're right, Arrow Films as well. I love
Arrow Films. I don't know if they are for sure, but they seem like a subsidiary of Criterion that does more of the genre stuff.
Can I tell you something too? By the way, the majority of those Arrow films are on Apple iTunes, and they're selling those movies remastered.
Stop telling people to download these things.
I understand that, but here's why I'm telling them to download it, because the Arrow releases are only $2.99. Okay, I'm not lying.
That's exactly why I didn't want you to do that.
they're $2.99. I bought a ton of them for $2.99. I ended up buying some great '80s movies like Bloodstone, Hired to Kill. I ended up getting like a classic Switchblade Sisters, Black Rainbow. I got a great Italian movie called Colt 38, all $3. And so if you are, just look under Arrow video. I even got a really cool movie called The Zero Boys from the 80s. It stars the same chick from Nightmare on Elm Street. And she's in it.
You're going to have to be a lot more specific than that.
The Zero Boys?
No. The girl from Nightmare on Elm Street. There's fucking 8 movies.
No, the one that was, I believe her name was Kelly Maroney, I think.
There is nobody by that name in any of those movies.
The blonde one.
Are you talking about Kelly Monroe?
Is it Kelly? Maybe it's Kelly Monroe.
She's not in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Are you sure? Which one is she in?
I am 100%.
All right,
sure.
what is she in then?
Why do I know her? Nightmare on Elm Street.
Why do I know her?
Kelly Monroe. If I'm remembering Kelly Monroe right, that's the girl from Night of the Comet.
Yes, no, you're right. But it's
She's
Kelly.
in Emmanuel.
No, you're right. It is that movie. That is correct. Night of the Comet. You're right.
Emmanuel.
I would like to go over some honorable mentions for next week.
And by the way, it is Maroney. That's Maroney. What it says on IMDb. Kelly Maroney.
That person was not in any Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
You're right. It was Night of the Comet.
Not even in Freddy's Nightmares.
All right. What were you going to say now?
I have some honorable mentions for next week for porn films.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
We've got Snatch in 4K.
That is not. That's not porn.
We've got Working Girls on Criterion.
Oh,
we've got
also not porn. That is not porn. That's with John Ritter.
No, that totally is. And then we have on Mill Creek is putting out 2 If by Sea. That's porn.
No, that's with Dennis Leary and Sandra Bullock.
And then
are you going to say there's no semen in 2 If by Sea?
This one,
shut up, Todd.
It says it right here. Ron Jeremy's in this. Tremors 4: The Legend Begins.
That he's not in that, and you're a liar.
He plays a trimmer.
And then the last one for honorable mention that's definitely a porn film coming out next week is Into the Wild.
No, that's not. No.
Oh man,
You're an idiot. Anyway,
Call me a liar, but I'll bet you when those come out and you buy them, there's going to be lots of conversion shots.
No, there's no. Shut up. Shut up. You're an idiot.
I believe there's at least a beaver or two in Into the Wild.
Now, if you're going to wrap up the show, we should probably talk about who we lost this week.
Yeah.
I am glad you brought that up because there was a lot of information. We did lose a fantastic director. One of our childhood. He is responsible for our childhood memories, especially for Goonies. Richard Donner, and the man who is also responsible for Superman.
Very understated
director.
legend, man.
Yep, very much so. Richard Donner passed away.
In the same way Spielberg or Lucas was, but he's almost more responsible for the stuff we love than those guys.
Richard Donner, his filmography is quite huge, quite big. Of course, Superman. Even though he's not credited with it, Superman 2, Lethal Weapon.
Well, no, now he is because he has the Donner.
Yeah, he has a cut.
That is true. He does have a cut.
He did get to fix that before he passed.
According to Gene Hackman, who is retired from acting, he honored Richard Donner's passing by saying. He said that Richard made it fun, and that's why the films turned out the way they that way too. According
there's no question of that. Half the reason, everybody gives Christopher Reeve all the credit for why Superman worked in that movie, but I'm almost willing to bet he's more 25% of that movie, and Richard Donner's the rest. Because you don't even get Christopher Reeve if Richard Donner didn't see it in him, but everybody in that movie. In the context of the movie is fantastic. It's not the Lex Luthor that you want from the comics, no, but everything is there isn't a bad move in that whole first movie.
He is responsible for a great horror movie
and spinning the Earth back in time, but whatever. You went along with that in '78.
He is responsible for a fantastic movie that he doesn't get a lot of credit for. He's responsible for The Omen, great horror movie from 1976. He's also responsible for a very bad movie from 1982 called The Toy with Richard Pryor.
Lady Hawk?
He was responsible for Lady Hawk, which is one of my favorite underrated movies. That movie is fantastic to this day. He's done Scrooge. That is correct.
All the
Lethal Weapons. He also did a film that a lot of people don't remember that Tom Hanks starred in. But he had a kind of a bit part in it, and that was Radio Flyers with Elijah Wood. You guys remember that? That was him. Yeah. That was a great movie as well.
A good movie of his that nobody really talks about. Although, if you watch it back then, you have fond memories of his Conspiracy Theory.
Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts was so much fun and also Patrick Stewart's in that.
It's not a fun movie, but it's a great movie.
No, when I say fun, I mean it's so ridiculous and so out there that it's a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed Conspiracy Theory. I even like the movie that a lot of people don't like. I like Assassins with Sylvester Stallone and Antonio Banderas.
I can kind of take or leave that one, but it's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. There's another movie on his resume that is also really good that I enjoyed that a lot of people didn't like, and that's with Paul Walker. He did the movie Timeline from Michael by Michael Crichton.
Oh, that was his?
That was his. Yeah.
Man, I don't remember.
Timeline's actually really fun.
I wasn't a fan of that one, but I'll let him have it.
Yeah, let him have that one. And of course, like I said, I don't want to skip over it, but of course 1985 was the Goonies. And of course everybody remembers the Goonies. I don't know one person that did not like the Goonies. And he's responsible
for it. It wasn't the hit that we all remember it was, though.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
In our minds that was a huge movie, but if you actually look at the way that movie was received back then, it was a flop. It's so strange to think about now, but we were the generation that grew up on cable, so we saw these things more now in the theaters.
Well, it is unfortunate. We were supposed to get one more movie out of Richard Donner before he passed, and that was going to be the Opus Lethal Weapon 5. Of course,
but I'll be honest with you, I'm glad he didn't.
Well, we'll see.
If that was going to be the last thing he did with his career, that would have been a bummer.
Well, to be fair, the last thing on his resume as far as career goes is 16 Blocks with Bruce Willis, and that is not.
But you know what? Great. I'm better with that than the last thing he does being working with Mel Gibson again.
Stop it! That would have been fun.
I'll take that.
I think it would have been a fun movie.
Mel Gibson's a human pile of trash. Stop making an excuse for him because he's in good movies.
Daniel's correct. Good looking out. You're an aficionado. He directed the original episode of The Twilight Zone with the Gremlin. That is also true. He did. He actually also did. He also was responsible for Tales from the Crypt. He did a few episodes of Tales from the Crypt as well.
Was he one of the founding guys that got that rolling, or was he just hired in? I can't remember.
I don't know if he was. I don't think he did. I don't know if he got it rolling, but I do know that he came in and did 3 episodes.
Right.
So, and that's all I do know.
But man, like I said, like he was never respected in the same breath as George Lucas and Spielberg and those guys. But
he worked alongside
the
him.
amount of stuff that he had that was great, he deserved to be treated in the same respect.
Mm-hmm. He did. He directed Richard Donner. When it comes to Twilight Zone, he directed one of the most famous ones, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet with William Shatner. He did.
That was his?
That's his. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is his. He also did
better in the movie though.
He also did a great one called Sounds and Silences, the Twilight Zone episode, which is great. And he also did another one that I highly recommend watching called The Brain Center at Whipple's. And that one is that one was very good as well. He was doing all kinds of television. He directed episodes of Gilligan's Island, like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. He did like Perry Mason, and he did all kinds of
that's what I'm saying.
work.
Like his career is so varied.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he's
did a lot of
directed
stuff.
every genre. If you could think of a genre, he's directed it. And he's done all of them well. Like he's done great action movies, he's done great horror movies, he's done great adventure movies. He did a superhero movie that is still like the quintessential. That his movie is still the yardstick by which all the other superhero movies are measured. When you think about it,
very true. He did episodes. He directed episodes of the Banana Splits Adventure Hour. If you didn't know that,
no kidding, really?
I'm not joking. That's
I never did this deep of a dive on him before. I've never seen that.
Yeah. His resume is quite varied, and he's a great director, and he shall be missed.
He hung in there for a while, man. 91.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And of course, as you know, not only did he direct films, he also produced films with his wife, Lauren Schuler Donner, as well. He is responsible for Free Willy, him and his wife.
He was on that? I thought just she was.
I thought they both were. No? Am I wrong about that?
Well, now that Alika's not in the chat, we can bring up that she was one of the producers on the X-Men series.
She was. As a matter of fact, so was Richard Donner. He was actually on the... He wasn't
attached to X-Men.
No, he was attached to the original X-Men as an executive producer. And get this.
Not credited.
He might not have been, but he was. He was the executive producer on X-Men Origins Wolverine. No, he is. His actual credits say that he is. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I never saw his name attached to that movie when I watched it. I would have remembered that.
Yeah, he was an executive producer on the very first X-Men and X-Men Origins
Wolverine.
Well,
you know what? Not everything will be gold.
Stop it. Don't say that.
But you know what? He's earned enough hits to have a few duds.
Today's Burt Ward's birthday.
Yeah, but he's not dead yet. We don't have to talk about him.
Wow, that seemed harsh.
He turned 76 today.
Mm-hmm. Well, good on Burt Ward, the original Boy Wonder. Actually, the original Boy Wonder would be, it's definitely Burt Ward.
Now that you brought that up, it always kind of irritates me when people bring up like the legacy of all the actors that have played Batman and Robin, and everybody completely forgets to bring up the ones from the old serials. Now I understand none of us were alive back when those came out, but most of these people weren't alive when the Adam West ones were around either. So you know what I'm saying? Like these people aren't really digging that deep.
Good point.
There's 2 different guys that played Batman or Robin in the serials because I think there's 2 runs of them and they weren't the same guys for both.
Yes, that is correct. They were not. I remember owning the DVDs of the original serials from the 1930s. Yeah, two. Yeah. Is that the one you're talking about? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you open up his producer credits, holy crap! There's so much stuff he was behind.
He produced the original. I don't think he directed any episodes, but he produced the original Maverick. That's why he directed the movie Maverick with Mel Gibson and James Garner.
I forgot about Maverick.
Yeah,
that's a great one.
Maverick.
That's a lot of fun.
The Lost
there you
Boys.
Go. Richard in the chat. Yeah, he was a producer on the Lost Boys. That is true.
That dude has had his hand in like a lot of the best stuff that Hollywood's ever done. All in the 80s, but still.
All in the 80s at 100%. Absolutely.
He really had his finger on the pulse of what was going to work. You know what I mean? Like when you look, maybe back then he didn't know it, maybe, but. And maybe it's just because there wasn't as much stiff competition for everybody to have something like that. There wasn't an IP battle back then for everybody to scoop things up. But it seemed like everything he did, most of everything he did, all worked.
Well, let's be honest.
The film was still great.
Anything in the 70s and 80s, nothing was really IP, right? Superman was the only really big IP, right?
We're still swimming in the IP that was made famous back then. So you know what I mean? Like,
that's true. That's a good point.
Back then it wasn't IP. I mean, technically it was, but back then it was just uncharted waters. Like, should we make
Bordello of blood?
Yes, because he was part of Tales. He was part of Tales from the Crypt. That's why.
Yeah, I think he was part of those guys. You know, I don't think he was just one of the directors. I think he was one of because it was a group of good guys that came together to put that up for HBO. I think he was one of them.
Oh wow! If that's the case, then that's super cool. I mean,
I don't think he was just a director on it. I think he was one of the guys that helped develop it.
That is a series that deserves a remaster. That whole Tales from the Crypt series deserves to be remastered. That is a great series, without a doubt. So
I just Bordello.
A little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, listen, Demon Knight's great. He's not on that one, but Demon Knight was fantastic too. So Bordello of Blood's a little bit silly, but I still like all the Tales from the Crypts. I think they're fantastic. Is that on HBO Max? Does anybody know?
Sure.
I have it open right now, but I have to restart my app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's there. Why not?
Richard Donner, you shall be missed. And thank you for all of the memories. We certainly do appreciate it.
We appreciate you wanting to give us Lethal Weapon 5, but we didn't ask for it. So
hey, stop it! It would have been great. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. It would have been great.
I would have watched the movie with crossed arms because it's Riggs, but I don't. Mel Gibson's a human pile of trash.
Hey! Enough with you. No, stop it.
Greg,
Anyway,
you're just mad because I'm not saying it about you. You think it's cute when I say it to you, but when I say about your precious notebook, you get irritated.
Yeah, don't miss it. Don't mess with my Melly. Stop it.
Oh, it's also Kevin. It's also Kevin Hart's birthday.
Oh, is it?
Speaking of human pile of trash.
Wow, you certainly are passing judgment tonight, aren't we?
I meant Todd opening his mouth right now.
It's also 50 Cent's birthday.
Oh, Todd, are you looking at birthdays? Is that what's happening here now, Todd?
And Jeffrey Rush.
Oh, before I forget,
tune into NERDWatch where we tell you when people were born.
It's been a year since Ennio Morricone. Morricone has passed away.
Ennio Morricone, one of the greatest composers of spaghetti westerns. Before I forget, I watched on Netflix. I got the opportunity to watch America, the movie, the cartoon. Yeah. Yep. There's some decent parts in there, but it's not as great as I thought. I thought it'd be a lot more fun.
You told me Fear Street was awesome. No, it wasn't.
Hey, Fear Street. Okay, that's the other one I was going to mention. Fear Street was fun. The next one, the part 2, which comes out this Friday, Fear Street 1978, looks fun. I can't believe you didn't enjoy the homage.
Once they ripped off Scream for the first 10 minutes and not in an homage way, I was just like, all right, well, they already got cool with me. I did watch. I don't know if you've seen it anywhere. I watched this French film called Meander. I watched that over the weekend.
I love French film, but am I not aware of Meander?
I mean, it's French as far as it being technically a French film, not French film like how you're thinking French film. It's about a woman who seems suicidal. She gets picked up on the side of the road by this guy in a truck, and she finds out that he's like a serial killer or something like that.
That's always trouble.
When she tries to fight to get away from him, there's a bit of a struggle. Next thing you know, she wakes up in this very small metal box with very like weird lights on the sides, and it turns out that she's stuck in this very claustrophobic maze, and it keeps forcing her to move forward.
Oh, like Cube?
It's very much like Cube. Like every so often, she'll get to a section that there'll be either a trap or she'll have to kind of figure her way around stuff. It is very Cube-like.
Should I watch it? I really love Cube. I think Cube is great.
Performance-wise, it's good. Visually, it's good. Once the movie shows its hand as to what it actually is, you're gonna roll your eyes. I mean, if anybody's even remotely interested in it, I don't want to spoil it. If anybody wanted to see
don't.
Most people probably are not going to agree with me.
I'm not interested, so you can go ahead and spoil it.
As it turns out, she's really just in a tube where people are just running drugs in and out of Mexico. That's all it is.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Gannon.
It's a lie. Relax.
Okay.
But anyway, like I said,
now that I've heard that, let me proceed with the eye rolling.
Yeah. So once the movie shows its hand, and it's not even a twist. Like once the movie just kind of shows its hand to you, you're just gonna kind of be like, "This is it. This is what I've been watching this whole time." And then it takes you one step further at the end, where you're just like, "Oh, this is kind of dumb." But like I said, on a performance level, it's pretty good. Visually, it's pretty good. Unfortunately for me, because I know when the movie Cube exists, and it's a much better idea of that story. I would say if you're interested in watching Meander, don't just watch Cube instead, and don't bother with the sequels.
Got it.
Because Cube 2 is dumb. Cube 3 is kind of good until it's not. But
Hypercube? You didn't like Hypercube?
No.
Okay.
Once there was weird.
At one point, do they like? Does she walk through a portal, into the future to fight aliens for 7 days before getting teleported back into the past?
Shut up, Phormat. You're so
stupid. I'm not going to lie to you. That you're almost on the right.
Wow.
No portal.
Well, let me eye roll again.
Right before we called it a night.
There were some announcements for Hard Media though that I forgot to throw into the rest of my stuff, so I don't know what you had to bring up.
Well, what did you want to bring up? Hurry up, because we're over 2 hours already. Let's go.
Well, Shout Factory came out with some new stuff coming out in September and October. 3 big ones. One is Alone in the Dark, which is Jack Shoulder's movie that he made before Nightmare on Elm Street 2. That's finally getting a Hard Media release. I don't know the last time it's ever been. Might have just been VHS, I think. I don't even think it's been on DVD. I don't think. But knowing Shout Factory, they're going to throw out the bells and whistles, probably give it the best possible transfer they can get out of it. I don't know if they're investing on a 2 or 4K master, but knowing them, they're going to give the best possible version they can give. The second one is Elvira's Haunted Hills, which is her second full-length movie. Kind of lesser than her first movie, but still fun to watch if you're a big fan of Elvira. Same thing with that one. If you order direct from them, though, and if you're an Elvira fan like I am, they have a package that's available till August 6th where it's expensive, but you can buy the Blu-ray along with an 18 by 24 poster that she will sign. It's not limited by, I don't think it's limited by the number. I think it's limited by the order cutoff date. So everybody that orders before August 6th can get it. The next one is actually the big one. They are releasing Halloween 1 through 5 in brand new 4K editions.
Saw that.
I've already seen people upset that it's only 1 through 5, but I think a big part of that is that once Paramount took over the Miramax license, all those movies went with Paramount.
Correct.
And I don't think Shout Factory has any licensing deals with Paramount.
Nope.
So that box set that they initially put out for Blu-ray, that's possibly the last time you'll be able to get them all in one package like that, unless they start a partnership with Paramount. So that's just the movies that they still have access to. So some people are upset about it. But anyways, 1 through 5, brand new 4K remasters that if you're a huge cinema snob kind of guy, Dean Cundy supervised the new remasters for 1, 2, and 3 because he shot those. So those are going to look about as amazing as he would want them to look.
Yep.
4 and 5, I don't think had the supervision of the director of photography, but those also have 4K. People probably aren't going to care too much about 4 and 5, honestly. But Shout Factory has all these different packages where you can buy the movies individually. The first 3 films, you can buy them along with John Carpenter, along with his son and their other music partner. They redid key music pieces from the movies, like completely redid them from top to bottom, and releasing some music from 1, 2, and 3 on vinyl 7-inch records. And then you can buy, of course, the whole damn thing, including the vinyl, including posters for each movie, which is like $250. No box set though, which is interesting. I thought they would have done a box set for all 5, but they didn't do it.
It's a real shame that they don't have the access to the other movies, even though the other movies aren't as good as the first 3. I will say that I think H2O is underrated, and I love H2O. I think that's a great movie.
Well, I mean, I would argue that 6 finally getting the producer's cut is worth a watch too.
Yep, I agree.
Because once Lionsgate got back Halloween 6 on their label, which probably doesn't exist with them anymore. They released independent copy of the producer's cut on their own. And some people were buying that, but it wasn't going to have all the extras that the Shot Factory guys did. So again, I'm pretty damn sure right now people are learning that they don't have the license for the rest of those movies. If you don't have that box set value is going to skyrocket.
It's a good point.
That might be the last time you're going to be able to get them all in one shot.
I mean, it's a smart move now anyway, considering that Halloween Kills will be coming out in October, I believe. I think it is, or September. I can't remember.
And what's good with that, too, is that branch, which is weird. It kind of goes back to the Loki thing. The new Jamie Lee Curtis movies are on their own branch, so they could be their own box set. You wouldn't necessarily be upset they're not part of their other box set. However, the Rob Zombie movies are in there. But yeah, so that franchise at this point has been Choose Your Own Adventure since part 3. So
true. And boy, part 3 is still my favorite, without a doubt.
I still, I loved it even back then. I know. I mean, I had the same disappointment. Like, oh well, there's no Michael Myers, but it's not that bad either.
Not at all.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's my favorite Halloween movie, and it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. I love that movie. And with that being said, if you guys are into speaking of releases, if you're into video games, I wanted you to know that on Netflix, Dynasty Warriors, the movie, is out.
I saw it. I didn't watch it though. I was like, do I want to watch this?
And if you're interested in the Muso, you can check out the Dynasty Warriors movie. It is on Netflix right now. And I also want to pay homage to Robotech because they also have Netflix has a brand new movie called Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway that is now out. On
Hathaway?
Hathaway?
Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, she turns into a robot?
Yeah,
No.
something like that.
No, it's based after the novels.
This Gundam wears Prada?
Yeah, it says after Charles Valiant, Anne Hathaway leads an insurgency against Earth Federation, but meeting an enemy officer and a mysterious woman alters her fate. And that woman is Meryl Streep. Yeah, so you can watch.
Should read stuff off your computer and make it sound even more like you're reading stuff off the computer.
It's good, right? It's good. That's what I do for a living. Anyway, Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway is out, and so is Dynasty Warriors. If you are interested, Dynasty Warriors. The trailer looks good, but I can almost guarantee that movie is not going to be good at all.
Yeah, the second I watched the trailer, I was kind of like, oh, I have a funny feeling this is going to be kind of a dorky movie.
Yeah, I have a bad feeling too.
Bring myself to watch it.
Yeah. I'm gonna break down.
Although the fight scenes look pretty close.
They
to
do. They do. That's the only redeeming quality of it, I think.
Well, how long is
it?
it? Because it's not a true Dynasty Warriors project unless it's like 8 hours.
No, it's only 2 hours long. 2 hours.
But it'll feel like 8 hours.
But it'll feel like 8 hours, like most Dynasty Warriors games.
It's a lot of running from one place of a field to another, then fighting like 100 guys all at once, and then you run to another part of a field and fight another 100 guys all at once.
Sounds good.
If that's the movie, then they nailed it.
They definitely nailed it.
They're like, we need to get there before this time so I can get this thing that drops off the guy that rides by on a horse.
Yeah, whatever.
How many Dynasty Warrior games have there been?
A lot.
I know.
They're in Dynasty Warriors 9 is what they're up to right now.
Oh, they're in 9.
Really? That's it? I thought by now they'd be up to 20.
No.
No,
Dynasty
they started
Warriors,
splintering.
Yeah, right. So there was Dynasty Warriors 9, but there's also like there's the Orochi Warriors, which is another series. And I think that there's
you're right.
There's Samurai Warriors too.
Samurai Warriors, that's it. Yeah, Orochi Warriors, Samurai Warriors.
I don't know.
And then you got to count the Extreme Legends.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be so surprised. There's 8 Resident Evil games, but there's like 20 total.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I might even be wrong. It might not even be 20. It might be way more than that.
Bronzebeard 808 says 9 plus 6 extras, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
you would know.
Yeah, he would know. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I got a couple of things that we could quickly touch up on.
Sure.
So it's been announced that Ron Perlman will provide a voice in the upcoming Beast Wars movie.
I'm so happy because I know this answer. I know this. He's gonna. Okay, you know what? Phormat, you go ahead. You do it because I want to kind of say it, but
he will be providing the voice of
say it.
The gorilla, whatever the primal
Optimus Primal.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever the hell.
He already kind of looks
I'm
like
not going to watch it, so I don't really care.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
are. You're
saying
gonna
it
watch
because
it.
it's newsworthy because we're nerds. Whatever.
So
the other
awesome.
thing I had was, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm not gonna lie. There was a split second where I'm like, this might bring me back to Transformers, and out of my head, I'm like, no, you know what? Even Ron Perlman can't get me back.
Even Ron Perlman, do.
How dare you?
Because then I was like, it's not gonna be Ron Perlman. It's just his voice. So I'm just like,
Right.
no, I still can't do it.
Watch the gorilla have a massive chin.
They're gonna like have like a metal version of his face, even though he's supposed to be a gorilla. That's the part that's gonna be really annoying.
He's gonna have a stone hand. Sweet.
Like I said, he does kind of have a gorilla's face already. Kind of, if you think about it.
Yeah, it works. I mean, he was the beast for how many seasons of that terrible soap opera?
And frankly, he was better looking as the beast than real life.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? He said so himself.
Yeah, called for. All right. If you say
He
so.
said so himself.
What else I got? I got so it's been in the rumor mills that a new Fast and Furious spinoff is in the works.
Yes.
Tell me the story that I read.
Cypher, Charlize Theron's character, who just stands in a room.
Oh, that's not the one that I read. I read an even wackier one.
Oh, did you? What'd you hear?
Like, I don't like reading the rumor stuff because I'm like, most of the time this isn't real. But this one I read and I was just like, I don't want it to be real, but at the same time I want it to be real.
Yes.
I knew this one had to be fake. There's no way this one was real, but at the same time, like it was somebody posted this thing about Universal is considering crossing over the Fast and Furious franchise with Jurassic World.
Yes.
I heard that a while back.
Yeah, I did too. I heard that as well.
I read that article and I was just like, I've never wanted a movie to happen and not happen at the same time.
I want it to happen. I do as well.
Because how do you even incorporate those two things? Like, that's why I was kind of like, no, you know what? I want to see what kind of hoops they'd have to jump through.
They're going to be drifting raptors. I'm telling you.
Yeah. That's so awesome. I'd be so in for that. Chris Pratt in a Jurassic World movie with Vin Diesel.
You know what else? You know what else? Raptors, family.
Yeah. We could call it Jurassic. Yeah. Wait. We got to find a name though.
Huh?
What?
We'd have to have a name that would match.
The Jurassic and the Furious.
Jurassic and the Furious? Is that what it is?
Man.
Or
Jurassic Furious?
Or the Fast and Jurassic.
Fast and Jurassic. Fast and Jurassic. All right, I like that. I like that as well. I like that too. Anyway,
I mean, if you really want to combine them, then you can go with the Thoracic, but then people are going to think it's like a furry animal now.
Maybe.
The Thoracic and the Furious.
Jurassic Park. Got it. I'm in. Anyway, it's I think it's time for us to get out of here. Todd, before we go, how are things going with your comic?
Good. I'm working on page 20.
Fantastic.
Must be doing great. I mean, he didn't
it's true.
add anything to the podcast all night.
He did.
Todd said that I could announce his next book for him tonight.
Oh
yeah.
Is that
nice?
Is that true?
His next book is going to be called "The Milkman Comes Twice."
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Is this where I roll? I feel like this is where I'm supposed to eye roll.
This is where you're supposed to eye roll.
I mean, it's just going to be filled with blank pages, white pages. It's going to be really. It's a real soft sell.
Todd, since you're working on that, that's great. Do you have a release date yet?
I'm going to try to get it done.
And try to release it in your mouth.
For the Milkman always comes twice.
You guys are disgusting. Todd, when is your comic book coming out?
I'm just shocked that Phormat.
Do I have a release date? I try to release that daily.
Shut up, Todd. You're an idiot. No.
They're called Nocturnal Emissions.
Idiot.
I'm going to try to get. I'm going to Oahu in the end of August. I'm going to try to have everything done by the end of August.
Fantastic.
The COVIDs?
And my last question for you, Todd, is that any updates on any cons in your future?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, fantastic.
Because they haven't been released yet, or because
I know a thing or two, but I can't say anything.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
I'm in a sacred covenant with Todd Bernardi, so
well, whenever
if
you're
I
ready,
blab anything, he's got things to blab. So
whenever you're ready, Todd, we're here for you. Okay.
is that where you guys touch peepees?
Yeah.
you ever gone to Pretzel Maker and you watch how they do the knot?
Yeah.
That's basically it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, ew.
You guys make pretzels together?
We put salt on it for like when Kai comes over.
All right, you guys disgust me. We have got to go. You guys are sick.
Why? Because you weren't invited?
Anyway, we're out of time.
So-
When the podcast devolves into this, then we have an issue. Anyway, we're out of time, ladies and gentlemen.
We don't want to. You don't want to talk about Hulk's ginormous penis or something.
Hey, no. Anyway,
I bet
Bruce
Banner is circumcised. The Hulk is not. That's what
Is this the return on NERDWatch Magnum?
wow.
The gamma rays made him grow his foreskin back.
Todd, I was gonna go the other way. Where he's Banner, it's pretty decent. When he turns into a Hulk, it turns into a button and a fur coat.
It's a cloaca.
No, it's not Clay Aiken, dude. Or whatever the hell it is.
I'm pretty sure that's not what he said. Anyway,
He was invincible.
have a wonderful week, ladies and gentlemen. NERDWatch will be back next week. We will have next week on the program a review, all spoiler review of Black Widow, which is coming out this week, Friday. All spoilers review of Black Widow, and we'll talk about that in depth next week after everyone sees it.
Next week, man, she dies.
What if the invisible woman to become invisible, she could become invisible, but just for her breast wouldn't become invisible? Do you think she'd still do it?
Todd, are you doing a show by yourself now? Is that what's happening here?
Do
Anyway,
you think she'd still turn invisible if it was just like nobody knew it was her titties, so she could get away with it, right?
All right, Todd, I'm muting your mic. All right, I'm muting it right now.
I want that to be a movie.
I mean, right?
That's
idiots. All right,
Russ Meyer should make it.
we're out of time, Todd.
I'm glad that we skipped over my topics to go to Todd.
Yeah, I'm so glad we
Yeah,
did
I
that.
know.
Yeah, that was great. That was
Hey,
great.
Phormat, what other topics you have?
I was going to talk about Good Omens season 2.
Yeah, that did get that also did get
And
announced as
how
well.
people were in arms because they were like, Neil Gaiman, you didn't even make Good Omens 2. So what's this? And Neil Gaiman was like, I made the first one. So yeah, I get to make the second one too.
Oh,
But I know he said he was a little, somber about it all because, Terry Pratchett's not with us anymore. So, but he has all the paperwork saying they worked on it together. He has a direction for it. So he's pretty stoked.
Amazon Prime season 2 announced for Good Omens. Pretty sweet.
And the other thing I was going to talk about was Star Wars Visions. And then I was going to hand it to Kai, but you handed it to Todd.
I did hand it to Todd, and that was my fault. All right, you know what? I didn't. I do feel
unmuted?
bad.
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Yeah,
dude.
you're unmuted.
Okay. So what did it tell you? Do you guys want to talk about now?
Hey, Todd, why don't you shut up? Listen, before we go, I you know what? It is I almost forgot because we had so much crap to talk about. Star Wars Visions. We didn't get a chance to see. I don't know. Did you guys get to see the trailer for it yet?
I didn't get to. I know Kai did, and he's like super excited about it. That's why I was going to pass it
All
to
right.
him.
Well, let me go ahead and share the trailer. This will be the last thing we do for the night before we go. It's only fair. It's the teaser trailer for Star Wars Visions. If you have not seen it, boys and girls, here it is. Oh, wait a minute. I got to let me take this off again really quick.
Oh, it's an anime series. That's lame.
You put it back on.
I know. Hang on, guy. Calm down, dude. I forgot to hit the share audio button.
Always keep it on.
All right. Well, we're gonna keep it down a little bit because it is Lucasfilm, and I don't want us to get in trouble. So here we go.
Archer's showing it's enough.
Yeah.
Star Wars Visions is
Why
gonna be an
why can't you hear it?
exciting
What
anime
is going on?
series
It's
coming
fine.
out.
Maybe it's better that you don't.
Japanese animation.
You guys can hear it through my
inspired a lot
stuff.
of people at Lucasfilm over the years.
Why is this? Why can't you hear it?
Yeah.
Well, this is it anyway. So they're
Expressed
talking
in that
about
way.
it. They're talking about it. So let's see.
Each one of these studios
Interesting.
that we approached,
Why
we
can't
found
you-
Trigger.
It's so
hardcore
weird.
Star Wars fans. They all had
So
a
anyway,
story
they
wanted to
are
tell.
they went to three or four different anime studios and are essentially doing their own stories, which is really really cool. So
Are
if you're
you
watching,
just reading the subtitles to the Japanese?
no, I'm not, you ding dong. I'm just saying
Can
that
I
this
can
is
I
what they're
make
doing.
believe that I'm dubbing her?
No, you can't.
From the heart and
No,
soul
you
of these
can't.
official creators.
She's saying that she really enjoyed this
Lens of Star
project.
Wars.
So
There are
it looks, the animation does look really really good. So
I'm seeing static shots so far. What animation are you talking about?
this is the animation.
Those
Those are static shots. It's not animation.
Oh, shut up. It does look
I think you meant the look and tone.
yes, idiots.
If anyone
I think Star
remembers
Wars is awesome. That's what I
a
got.
while back, like all these anime versions of like episodes would pop up on YouTube. This is essentially like the legit version. It's not
I
a
remember-
fan made.
Well, I remember when Batman did this with Gotham Knights, and I also remember when Halo did this as well.
You also forgot the Batman Ninja movie.
Well, Batman Ninja, but I mean, but I'm talking about like short stories or like anthologies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting. Like they're able to create brand spanking new like alien
Oh, for
creatures
sure.
here.
Oh my God! Lightsabers that look like samurai swords. I could not have guessed.
Wow, you're such a jerk. Yeah, it looks pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie to
Is
you.
that John Wick?
We feel so fortunate.
No, that
to
is
be
not
working
John
Hellboy.
Wick.
It's Obi Wick.
so many opportunities to reflect
Yeah,
Japanese
ooh,
storytelling
Boba Fett and his
in the
and
Star
Boba
Wars
Fett's starship.
universe.
Star Wars Visions is
John
completely
Lee.
different than everything else in Star Wars.
Black
storytelling.
Brown.
Audiences will fall in love with it.
Man, they pulled out all the stops in this show.
I'm very excited for this out of everything that they've done so far. I mean, this looks more exciting than like the Bad Batch, Star Wars Visions, and that's going to be streaming on Disney Plus in September.
I'm actually shocked it took
I'm
them
pretty
this
stoked,
long
man.
to get to this idea.
Yeah. So if you are interested, Star Wars Visions, I know that you couldn't
I'm
hear
sure
it.
it was a Lucas. Lucas was fighting it all the way. And
Yeah,
now
you
it's
might be
been
right
finally
on that.
wrenched from his hands.
You might be right, actually.
I doubt it. Anyway,
I think anytime
It's like, there's
you
no
take
way I'm
something-
letting the Japanese get a hold of my property.
Yeah, because think about it. George Lucas was the sole creative mind of it for so long that I think if he had given anybody carte blanche to create their own world, then he was going to run the risk of being shown up.
And then that's fair.
It's already.
I think he had too strong of an ego to let anybody else create
Right.
in that world.
I doubt that.
It's already
No,
happened
come
with the
on.
extended universe. If you look back, it got pretty crazy.
Because the people that did work with it while he was still in charge, they were under very rigid rules of what they could and could not do with certain things. Like things had to look a certain way. They had to have a certain tone. You couldn't go too far left
you
or
could,
right.
right. You had to stick to a certain timeline.
Yeah, like you really had like I don't know how much he signed off on or not, but there were very strict rules about what you could and couldn't do when he was in charge.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Disney, because they own it, they're just like, let's just throw anything at the wall and see what sticks at this point because the movies sucked.
that's
Like
what it is in Japan.
we'll get money regardless.
Yeah. We just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, and then what sticks, we'll just drive that into the wall some more.
We're making so much money off of Disney princesses. Like, who cares about this Star Wars thing?
Yeah.
I just hope the animators got paid for what the work.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Do you think Disney's actually made good on that investment yet, or do you think they're still trying to squeeze their nickels out?
I think they're trying to.
On what, Star Wars?
Good. Well, they spent $4 billion on it, so I don't know
Yeah.
if they've made their money back.
They haven't recouped their money.
I
back.
mean, The movies made at least like $3 billion.
But half of that went to advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they spent more money making the movie, but like the movies made $3 billion and a budget. Let's say we'll say the movies cost $200 million. The marketing budget was probably another $200 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they still cleared those budgets by over
I don't
$500
know
million.
I don't know the numbers to argue, but it's just interesting.
not $500,000.
Well, I mean, there's also merchandise too. They're all we know, they're making more money on the merchandise than they're making the movies anyway.
Well, that's the way Lucasfilm always made their money. So they've got people out there that are just obsessively collecting pieces, and
which is why to this day I'm still shocked that Jon Favreau managed to talk Disney into holding back Baby Yoda merchandise until it showed up in the show.
Yeah.
To think that he was able to convince Disney to say, you know what, let's not do that yet. Let's put it out there first and then do that.
Well, he probably like shoved the Frozen thing in their face, and they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll back off."
So, just so that we are clear, back in 2018, almost exactly 6 years ago, Disney shocked the world.
Wait,
or even further than that now.
2018 is 6 years ago?
No, I'm reading the story from 2018. Almost exactly 6 years ago, Disney shocked the world when it was announced that they had acquired all of the Lucas films for $4.5 billion. Well, after that, it looks like they have recouped their $4 billion investment. Yeah. The problem is that what's happening now is that they need to profit from this. So it looks like they did recoup the costs.
They're not looking to make back $4 billion. They're looking to continue to make billions.
Correct.
Yeah.
No business wants to make back money. They want to profit money.
Right. So they want to profit. So they have recouped the costs of the purchase, but now it's all about making billions of more dollars from this license. So, so I don't think that
think about it. They bought an entire company to get that.
Correct.
License. Think about it.
So we shall see if that even remotely happens.
Is ILM still part of that deal, or was ILM carved out of that? Because
I think ILM is the only thing that's I think that's the only carve out is in an Industrial Light and Magic.
He took them out of the position so that way they could still maintain their own company.
Correct.
Because he had to have been smart enough to realize, if I allow them to keep ILM, they're going to have the monopoly on one of the biggest computer animation studios in the world.
And then they didn't even use him for the first couple of movies. As heavily, I should say, because they were using practical effects.
Well, the reality of it is, I don't think with the way these movies are made anymore that one animation studio does it all anymore. I think they outsource it to multiple different companies. Like, you guys get this shot, you guys get this shot. That's the only way these guys can make these rigid release dates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I agree.
It's the only way. For ILM to be able to keep up with all of the demands on the CG for like one film when there's several other films that got to get completed before the end of the year, they outsource everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
ILM will probably get like the big shots, like the shots that end up in the trailer, but like a lot of the smaller stuff, they send that out to other studios.
It's extremely exciting to know that Visions is coming out. We shall see what other Star Wars properties will take them over the top of making even more billions of dollars.
Wait, Disney's making a remake of Over the Top
with Sylvester Stallone. I'm in.
No, an anime remake of Over the Top.
I would be in. I would love to see that.
Is it going to be a lot of like the second that they go for it, you just see them tensing and not moving, and there's just wind rushing by them as they're about to try to take the other guy down? Yeah,
and if it's an anime, there's a lot of speed lines.
It'd be like 20 minutes of speed lines going past him while he's trying to take the guy's arm down.
Right.
I would watch 8 hours.
I already see the anime version of the Fubar shirt guy with the cigar hanging out of his mouth and the curly hair. I can already see his animated.
I'm not gonna lie. The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, they should get really nutty with it, where they have like really crazy, weird anime style characters that are also arm wrestlers.
What if Sylvester Stallone's Hawk is actually he drives a truck in space, and there's
what
a
if he's an actual Hawk?
Stupid.
What is going on anymore?
What if he's an actual Hawk?
No, that doesn't work.
He has a Hawk tattoo. No, wait, stop. He has a Hawk tattoo and when he activates full on power, the hawk jumps off his arm and starts flying around the room.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's like
I'm
he
in for that.
activates full on beast mode, and the hawk becomes alive and starts flying around the room.
I still say he's a space trucker, and I still say that he uses that thing to work his arm out.
That's going too far, man.
Oh man, wow.
But he's a hawk.
That's not
that drives a space truck.
That's not anime weird.
That is anime weird.
That's Mel Brooks weird.
Anyway,
but he's got blue feathers.
All right.
No, his arm turns into a hawk.
All right.
His entire arm, like his hand just turns into a beak and just starts pecking the guy's hand.
Yeah, the head starts to grow out of it.
No,
That's awesome.
And it calls at him like, ah!
His hand turns into an eagle claw.
Yeah.
And that's how he takes the guy down. I went the wrong way. I shouldn't have gone beak. His hand turns into an eagle claw, and then bow goes down.
Yeah.
This really should be a real movie.
Yeah, it should.
Or series.
Listen, we are out of time. We've been doing this for almost 3 hours now, and we even started early. Go figure. Anyway,
Why does the show seem so long? Oh my goodness! It just keeps going and going.
Just keeps going and going. Send a big shout out to, of course, Bronzebeer 808, Crump Walk, who's in here. Say what's up, Richard, and of course Doc, and of course Daniel Plagle and LaBelle 32. Big shout out to them. And Carl Amano, Ron Cataguy, and all the rest of the crew. If I missed anybody, sorry about that. But of course, Drew, and of course, our good friend Drew. We are out of time, boys and girls. Have a wonderful week. We're going to talk about all things Black Widow next week, which will be a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear what these guys think about the movie Black Widow. I'm sure Todd is going to love it. I know, not you. I know you have.
Oh, I'm not part of the guys.
Yeah, you're part of the elite. You're part of the elite with me. Because you've seen it already. All right, so we're out of time. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. So until then, of course, for my buddy, the Dark Knight, for Gannon, and for Todd Bernardi, and for Phormat, and for Cobra Kai.
I feel like he's forgotten all of our names.
I am G Money. Until then, peace out. Much love, and most assuredly, always stay nerdy. And we'll see you back here only on the Nerd Watch. Until next time, aloha, baby.
Aloha.
Bye, Theta.